brother Luke. Give in to the dark side of the Force, you nap.
I'm telling you straight. It's my way or the highway. So anybody who wants to walk, do it now. We've got entirely too many troublemakers here.
Heat! Hands! Now!
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said,
So that's the kind of fun it's gonna be.
I'm just a happy camper.
Like to kick his ass just once.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my underground lair.
I'm your huckleberry.
Call me Snake.
I am a HAL 9000 computer.
Gentlemen, you can't fight in here. This is the war room.
Hail to the king, baby.
It's good to be the king.
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said,
Did you have shade? Well, it's a well-known fact, Sonny Jim, that there's a secret society of the 5 wealthiest people in the world, known as the Pentaverate, who run everything in the world, including the newspapers, and meet tri-annually at a secret country mansion in Colorado known as the Meadows.
So who's in this pentameron?
The Queen, the Vatican, the Gettys, the Rothschilds, and Colonel Sanders before he went tits up.
I'm sorry, that's not my real voice. This is my real voice. Hello. Hello. I've been working on my accent, so in case I have to say plasma. Ew. Why am I blurry? Got good skin, I might as well show it, yeah? There we go. That's my skin for the most part, yeah? It was very blurry. It was blurry. Sorry about that. Hello. Oh, the audio is low. That might be for all kinds of reasons, but we will bring it up on this end. Hopefully that's better. The next setup is going to be completely hardwired. Those of you that know me, especially Can't Stop Lying and Carl and a couple of others, know that one of my great meditative acts in life is stripping down my entire studio and rewiring everything. And it is something a lot of tech heads understand. And it is a... sometimes it's just about like reorganizing your space and going, as you add things, wires become patches, and then you're like, I gotta pull back. Oh, a new subscriber right out of the gate. Well, thanks so much. By the way, welcome to everybody. Thank you for being here. To everybody on YouTube at infotainmentwars.com, I love you. I adore you. Thank you for liking and subscribing and being here all the time. You're my favorite child. To Twitch, you are the twin that came out 6 months after your other twin, which is awkward, but you're still very important to me. You're a little behind, but you're getting there. To Periscope, you're like a brother-in-law who sleeps on my couch. Like, I want you to be okay, and obviously it's raining outside, so I can't kick you out. But I'm starting to get really confused about what you even do around here. Lipschitz and a couple others are pulling all the weight for you. Behave. And Facebook, I'm gonna have to grow a bigger hedge if you guys don't manage yourself a little better. But I'm glad. I love how people talk about me, and only on Facebook do people talk about you in the third person, like into a chat room as if this is the... All right, my name is Hal. Hello and welcome to my page, my channel, my scene, my group, my chat, my peoples. And I appreciate you joining us. Behave yourselves within reason. I mean, we like a little bit of outlandishness here, but you know, no, we don't want any ruffians. Okay? Nobody throwing fireworks over the fence, if you know what I mean. I love how people are like, these anarchists on the streets of Portland are destroying property that isn't even their own. And they go into my chat room on my page and start talking shit to my people. This ain't your page. It's real easy to avoid. There's only about 9 billion hours of YouTube put on every day. Find it. Thanks so much, James. And Mary, thank you. Since I have to drink my beer at home, you get what I have spent. Thanks. Going out, you mean, Mary? Well, I appreciate that. I'm glad I'm saving you from being from drinking alone. You're with us. Just don't drive. Hand me the keys through your... If you try to hand me the keys through your computer, you can't drive anyway. Just stay home. I mean, it's probably best. So, and Rogue 42 says, I just rewired my computer desk area and I had to encase cables, get rid of redundant ones, and generally cat-proof. My kitties have been chewing on them. Oh my God, it's a factor. Like with the kittens that have been running around, I have to keep it's toasty in here because I have to keep the door shut. Not just so the family doesn't hear my screaming and yelling and voices and craziness, but also because the kittens will run in here and start gnawing on things. The older cats we know don't gnaw on anything. So that's the spirit, Mary, going nowhere fast. So anyways, welcome. And also, I would like to say right out of the gate, we got like 6 new patrons yesterday. And I want to thank you guys and welcome you aboard. And I also want to point out that Kim Mayer from Wild Horse Ranch Rescue is such a wonderful, wonderful person. I don't know if you guys know how much I love and adore Wild Horse Ranch Rescue. But, you know, my birthday is next month. And if you want to get me a gift and you're not already a patron, or maybe you are and you just want to, what's a gift I can get him that doesn't cost me anything? Here's one. You can use smile.amazon.com and put Wild Horse Ranch Rescue in as your charity. That would be great for a couple of months, whatever. Just leave it in there so that when you buy stuff on Amazon, they get like a click-through nickel. Instead of it just being whatever site you just visited and stealing the fact that you were on a site and there was an Amazon ad on it, which is how a lot of clickbait stuff makes money, you can give it to a charity of your choice. Also, if you somehow don't want... Oh, thanks, Can't Stop Lying. Thank you for putting that in there. If you can, you can add Wild Horse Rescue to your Amazon Smile with that link. And then every time you shop on Amazon, it just gives them a little, token of support. And that would be awesome. If you don't do it for that because you're like, oh, I'm not a big horse person or something, or it's not your thing, or you have another charity that you're dedicating most of your energy to or you're trying to promote, I highly recommend, as we're all at home during this time, you figuring out a charity and adding that to your smile.com, your Amazon Smile thing. I think that would be awesome. But Wild Horse Ranch Rescue in Arizona is fantastic. They're just beautiful people. They take care of American wild horses that are, being driven off lands by the Bundys of the world. And they also scoop up and rescue police and military horses that are going to be retired and, in some cases, chummed. So I'm just saying, that would be a lovely thing. And again, you don't have to use my charity that I like. You can, pick one of your own, but it's a nice little automatic thing you can do to help. You know what I mean? It's like a little mini tip jar that's sitting on the counter of Amazon that you always you put your change in that every time you shop. It's basically that. It's like that little jar on top of it. So if you throw Wild Horse Ranch Rescue in there, that would be a really nice thing. I don't get any money from them per se. I'm just a supporter. We've done I think we did, 01 did a show for them ages ago. I don't know if that counts and I have to disclose that we did a show for them. I don't know how that stuff works. But all I'm saying is I don't get a piece of that, nor would I want to. It goes to them. It supports them. I think it would be wonderful. There you go. So, and then, hey, who knows? Do that for 3 months and then rotate someone else in your Amazon Smile. That kind of thing. See what I'm saying? It's a lovely thing. I do that just because all the people who are going to call me an evil libertard over this thing are going to have to grind on the fact that I'm trying to save the American wild horse and they couldn't give a shit. And Sherry, hi. I'll arrange that script for you. Summer and I are planning something really wonderful for the patrons end of this month. It's taking a little bit of a gear up to make it happen. But and today's the last day of July. So if you join today, you could be in on this, I think. Pretty sure. Yeah, it's the 31st. I don't know what day it is. Think about becoming a patron today. A lot of cool stuff is happening. And our longest term and our highest donating people are going to get a special gift. And it's going to be really cool. We've been trying to arrange it for a while, but everything's super slow because of COVID and everything as far as buying stuff and yada, yada, yada. So I just want to let you guys know that we're finally getting our act together. The Patreon thing is really just for people who support the show at whatever level they're comfortable doing. And the other stuff on top of it is my thanks to you. You're not buying the premium stuff that's on there. It's just a salute. I have to say that for legal reasons. And so it takes a little while because otherwise I'm selling stuff and that's illegal. So for how that works. So if the delay bugs you, that's why. But also COVID has slowed stuff down. So I'm just letting you guys know, and I appreciate that. And we're planning something really cool end of the month, and we want to do something for the holidays this year after we break through this nonsense. I also think there might be something, November 4th would be a lovely day for us all to have an assembly. Okay, so that said, let's get this party started. There's a couple of things today. First of all, Trump had his walkabout going to the. I don't know what the hell this thing is with the. Thanks, Rob. Happy day that used to feel like Friday. No kidding. And James in Australia, how to help with all the yours you get from the trolls. Oh, thanks. The yours. Yes, trolls, please get your apostrophe in order. What happened to Bree and Chase? Their characters, they still exist in the world of fiction. Yeah. Thoughts and accusations against Brian Callen. I don't know them. Tammy Johnson, I'm keeping you sane. There's a lot of pressure, Tammy. I'm barely keeping myself sane, but it's a team effort. By God. All right. Let's here. All right. So Trump is doing one of these things, and I thought I had to look at this one twice because this is the exact same angle, and I think maybe the ties have changed since last time, and we don't have the dude in the background who's doing the Sears catalog, leaning up against the building, kind of doing the hey. So there's no apostrophe ARE. Thank you. Or quotes ARE. That's a good point. But remember the other day when they did this? This was the exact same gaggle and exact, like CBS 17, I guess, which is the site that has this one up. Thanks, Jennifer. This is the exact. This is the exact. You'll never drink alone when you're here because we're all staring at you. Really? Really? This time of the day? I mean, honestly, on an empty stomach. Please have some cheese or some fruit, something. All right. Anyways, and by the way, Steve Mnuchin looking as manly as ever. He looks like Steve Mnuchin right now looks like, when you can get yourself 3D scanned, and some guy goes, "I know what my girlfriend will like, a 3D scan of me," and he goes down and he puts on his best suit, it's like a stalker. It's like if your stalker gave you a 3D printed version of himself. And he's like, "I thought you'd like this for your dashboard, so I'm always thinking of you." And you know what I mean? And you have to, he's got a bit of a lurch thing going on there. All right, so this is, hold on, I have to move this over here. It's going to collapse onto my, I will hide my thing on my latest copy of Heavy Metal, which I'm a subscriber to. I loved heavy metal growing up. There's no money changing hands for me mentioning this. I always feel like I have to say that. But I loved heavy metal. I love the movie, the original one. The second one, but the original one. And then, of course, the comic book itself when I was younger. I won't say kid because it's obviously a grown-up one. But Grant Morrison's the editor, or became the editor of it. And so I was like, now I got to subscribe. Friggin' Grant Morrison. Nerd moment. Okay, I'm back. Here we go. All right, this is going to be, I hate doing these, partly because the sound is so funky, but also because even without the helicopter noise, his voice is annoying. By the way, and let's see if we can get this, let me make sure I'm on the right thing. There we go.
We're looking at TikTok. We're thinking about making a decision. We're going to be watching the hearing.
This is the whole TikTok thing because apparently he's under the impression that TikTok arranged for a bunch of K-pop fans to mess with his tickets at the Tulsa rally, and that's what really happened. Blame it on TikTok. Blame it on TikTok. Oh yeah. So he's blaming it all on TikTok, and TikTok, for the record, is malware. It's crap. It's I mean, you're basically letting it into your photos and your videos and access to your mic, and it's just a mistake. Dump it off your phone, get rid of it. There'll be another thing. Go to Snapchat. It's got real security features on it. It's the same basic crap. I mean, it's like Vine died and somebody went, "Why don't we just make another Vine, but one that spies on you?" TikTok, dump it. But that's why they're going to use it as an excuse for the fact that he's pissed off that TikTok is he thinks is responsible for the shitty turnout at his Tulsa rally.
Today very closely.
You're going to look at, and I love how he says we're going to look at making a decision very strongly, very closely. That kind of language. We're thinking about doing that. By the way, isn't it 2 weeks since he said he was going to sign into law a healthcare plan that was completely great and awesome and better than ACA, but quicker and cheaper and faster and covers your pre-existing conditions?
Because there's no question that what the big tech companies are doing is very bad.
Okay, listen to this. Captain Twitter feed says there's no question that what the big tech companies are doing is very bad. Okay, what the hell does TikTok have to do with Apple? Or Google, even for that matter? Why are Google and Apple, they don't have anything to do with Facebook or Twitter or TikTok? Big software social media companies versus companies that make hardware as well as software or OSs for hardware is I don't get this. It's like there's no sound analogy for it because it's so idiotic. But it's like saying mountains are bad because volcanoes exist. It's this weird, he has no idea what each of these companies do. Like, he doesn't know the difference between Amazon and Apple. They both start with an A, and there are real billionaires running them. That's it. He doesn't do email because it would be evidence against him. That's why.
Let's also add on that, TikTok is under CFIUS review.
Uh-oh. We are reviewing TikTok. They took me out of their top mentions, and I thought my version of Beyonce's Black is King was on it.
Making a recommendation to the president on it this week. So we have lots of alternatives.
Yeah, we have lots of alternatives to TikTok. We can do Snapchat. Most of us are on Parler right now. It's the greatest right-wing circle jerk since Jimmy Swaggart woke up in a motel with his hands full. What is this whole, that he does every time? And I swear to God, it's, even with the helicopter, it just looks like Trump is farting on him. Like, why would you fart on Steve? Rise.
Tweeting about that doctor yesterday?
Asshole, don't take a big gaggle in front. If you want to answer questions more than a wave on the way, have everybody come into the room and go, I got 10 minutes before I'm going to run through. You got any quick questions? We're going to head out, but I got to go. We only got 10 minutes. See you later. Do it inside. What the hell's wrong with you? I can't hear a word you're saying. Yeah, you're the one with the helicopter, asshole. What?
Manuel, the doctor, do you wish you had not retweeted that?
Very impressed with her.
I was very impressed with the doctor and others, and they chased her down, and she stands by her demon statement.
Stood with her. I think she made sense, but I know nothing about it. I just don't.
Yeah, that's a great. Oh my God, that is the truest thing he's ever said. I think she made sense, but I know nothing about it. I mean,
her on, making a statement with very respected doctors.
Yeah? Well, then why didn't you retweet one of the, quote, very respected doctors? Which one? What did they do wrong? What the shit did they believe that you were like, no, I can't do that. Give me the demon semen lady.
He was not alone. He was making a statement about hydroxychloroquine with other.
Right, which is bullshit. Dr. Fauci was in front of Congress today going, the efficacy is, has been adjudicated and it's crap.
Doctors that swear by it, they think.
Yeah, they're called idiots.
Great.
Yeah, they're stupid.
But she was not alone. Fake news CNN made it like, oh, I said this, I said that. She was with a whole group of people.
Yeah, you didn't retweet the rest of them. You didn't pick one out and go, I should vet the people that go across with me. You just went, she sounds nice. Durr. How am I supposed to believe that you understand how to make a deal or look at the finer points of a trade deal, no wonder the ink wasn't even dry when we got bombed by China.
And you ought to tell your network the reason their ratings are so bad is
Thank you, Hollyberry. By the way, it's the 31st. Join Patreon today. Do us some good. It'd be really helpful.
because the coverage was so false. If CNN was...
The coverage is false? The coverage isn't false. Are you saying she doesn't believe what she says she believes? Because she says she believes what she says she believes. So you don't know what she believes, but you retweeted her anyways, but you didn't retweet the other quote, unquote, respected doctors. Like I said, are they all just the, like... I mean, I can't imagine what they could have possibly done. Are they all right. Were they all the attending physician on Epstein's island? And that was, well, okay, that's a little rough. You know what? Go with the demon semen lady.
It goes for MSDNC also.
MSDNC. Eat your heart out, Sarah Palin.
But your network is so dishonest.
Is it? Why are they dishonest?
Coverage on just about everything.
On just about everything. Oh, it's a pity party. I'm sorry. It wasn't supposed to be a press thing. He's just whining.
And there's an example. I was very impressed by her. Know nothing about her. I had never seen her before.
Yeah, and you, as president of the United States, you might think before you retweet someone and go, I take her medical advice very seriously. I saw this woman saying something, and I assume, you know, I liked what I heard from her. She said what I wanted to hear, and therefore she must be a qualified physician. And then when there's the word context, I mean, that you have to understand that if a doctor says, I recommend this drug, but they also recommend sitting on a spike, you might want to go, maybe they're wrong about the drug too.
Certainly you could put her up and let her have a voice.
Yeah, you did.
What they did is they took down their voice. Now,
they took down their voice. They shut her down because she said there's a cure for COVID, and there isn't.
They seem to never take down the other side.
There is no other side. There isn't another side to demon semen. There's no. This is not a tennis match of genuine ideas. We're not going, well, good point, well, good point, well, good point, well, good, touché. Why don't they take down the angel semen stuff? They never do that, do they? You know, they all day long, my Twitter feed is full of how, you know, the cure for endometriosis is letting an angel, sorry, fill you with baby batter in your sleep.
And with hydroxy, all I want to do is save lives. I don't care.
No, you want to be right about this, in spite of the fact that it kills people.
If it's hydroxy or anything else.
Well, then stop talking about hydroxy. The science is in. Piss off.
All I want to do is save lives.
Right, James. Person, witch doctor, demon semen, porn star, toilet flushing, raking, camera TV.
We
right.
can save lives, that's great. Now, one thing.
If we can save lives, that's great. If we can also save just my voters and let the Democrats die, that's a Jared thing. Ask him.
We're doing very well on vaccines.
Are we?
And very well on therapeutics.
How? Explain yourself.
Oh, that's very important. But I have...
Really? Yeah. Yeah, don't forget to... Thanks, Can't Stop Lying. Don't forget we have a Discord. You can join it. It's fun. It's for decent people. Get in there and mess around. You can converse, because after the show's over, the chat goes away. So this is a nice way to, you know, get together without all the Facebook shenanigans. And if you're a Patreon, you get to get in the nicer server, the safer server, the one I don't have to prune as much.
To be a believer in hydroxy, I used it. I had no problem.
It did no, yeah. It has the same efficacy as a placebo, except when it kills you.
I happen to be a believer. Many people agree with me.
Did you have it? Is he admitting that he had COVID at this point? Is that what we're saying?
A great test just came out from the Ford Clinic in Michigan, very respected. We'll see how it is.
We'll see how it is. But in the meantime, I'm going to continue to retweet witch doctors.
Well, thinking about it, but we're picking a location fairly soon. We'll let you know.
Yeah, we're picking a location fairly soon. It's July 31st, asshole. You have 2 weeks. We're in the middle of a pandemic. You're picking a location. He's gonna do it from the Rose Garden and use that as an excuse, or go to Camp David. Do it from your hotel. That's fine. And then stay there. And what's with your temple right now? That ain't hair. Look at that. I mean, the blend is getting worse every day. And the crepe layer on the top, it's just fascinating, the dew right now. It's like aging Ace Ventura. Thanks, Carl. Thank you so much. Happy Friday to everybody.
Are those troops, what signal does it send to Russia? Those troops were always there to defend Europe against Russia.
You're right. They're there to protect Europe. They're there to protect Germany, right? And Germany is supposed to pay for it.
No, we're not. It's not. How witch doctors at least have some ethics. Touche. I would, your run-of-the-mill shaman, and certainly a decent midwife is a better choice than this dude going, I happen to have taken it. I don't know if I really took it or if they just gave me a sugar pill and told me to just to shut me the hell up. I don't know if he's going bald on the side. I don't know if that's called going bald. I think it's just that the hair's really thin there anyways, and they just spray it with, they don't spray his, it's just not his skin color. It's just his face is so orange because they spray it that it's just unnatural. I don't know, whatever. That's so odd. What was I talking about? Oh, yeah. Our allies.
So why should we leave them if we don't want to be the suckers anymore?
What suckers? We use them strategically. One of our greatest military medical facilities is in Germany.
The United States has been taken advantage of for 25 years, both on trade and on the military.
25 years? Oh, since Reagan? Is that what we're going with now? Oh, shots fired against HW.
We're protecting Germany, so we're reducing the force because they're not paying their bills.
What? We're reducing the force doesn't benefit anyone but Russia.
Simple. They're delinquent.
Yeah. What are you going to do? Threaten them with death from Russia if they don't pay their bills? It's one of the reasons they can take advantage of us is because we need that base there. Thank you, Melinda.
Very simple. And there are other NATO countries also. Right now you have 8 out of the 28 countries that are paid up. I got them.
Dude, we're in a pandemic.
Pay $130 billion a year more, going up to 400.
And then they buy military stuff, and we spread the cost of the F-35 over all those countries as well. It's not cash. Good God. They don't pay a fee for protection, you dickhead.
Most of them will be up to date. Wasn't easy.
Why does Steve Mnuchin look like he's about to do a trust exercise and just fall over backwards and nobody's there?
Most of them will be up to date. The one that won't be up to date is Germany. And we spend a lot of money on Germany. They take advantage of us on trade, and they take advantage on the military. So we're reducing the force. Now, if they start paying their bills, I could rethink about it.
We took a bunch of those people out and sent them to Saudi Arabia.
Think about it differently.
Did you talk to Russia about a coronavirus vaccine?
We talked to Putin about a lot of different things, mostly arms control.
Mostly arms control. Like, what would you like?
They're working on the vaccine. I think we'll have one. Oxford's doing very well.
Yeah.
Is doing very well. We have a lot of good options.
Oh, don't do that to me. You can't zoom in on that or whatever. He looks like somebody made a statue of Steven Seagal out of circus peanuts. Thank you, Julius.
They said Russia was trying to steal information about a vaccine from researchers. Did you talk to them about that?
You're gonna have to talk up.
You're gonna have to talk up. I don't hear Russia questions.
I can hear everybody but you.
Can you come right here?
You can hear everybody but
Can
you.
you come right here?
On arms control, did you make progress? Are there going to be formal negotiations?
Yeah, there already are. We're in formal negotiations with Russia. or arms control. What about bringing China in? Or nuclear arms control. What about bringing China in? We'll talk about that later. We're going to work this first and we'll see. China right now is a much lesser nuclear power. You understand that than Russia.
What? We lost the I'm guessing the camera guy got hot and fell over, or
right now we are the great nuclear power.
Germany's not dead. They are okay in their standings now. The T word was not putting it on the show. Has no footing in asking folks to pay their bills. How many contractors says he's stiffed? How many local policies? Oh, totally. I mean, that's why he couldn't do Jacksonville, because they did not have the personnel, even if they paid them out of their own pocket, to cover this event, and he wasn't going to pay to bring people in, and nobody would go. Thanks, Clear Mountain. Trump looks like the mutant offspring of a potato and a pumpkin.
Upgraded our nuclear tremendously since we have.
Why? By the way, is anybody aware that the French are about to turn on a fusion reactor that they've been working on that will be like a mini sun and will power their entire country off a single reactor? And why don't we have one too? Oh, it's because we're in a trade war over cheese.
Power. Russia is second and China is third. China is surging. They'll be there at some point. And yeah, we would want to talk to China eventually. Yes.
Why not as part of a trilateral negotiation? Does China not want to be involved?
Look, I don't know what trilateral means.
Thought that we would do it first. I don't know if it's going to work out.
I don't know if it's going to work out. That's true of life. Like, didn't you say just yesterday? How can you assure anyone of anything?
We would do it first, and then we go to China together. Okay? Which I think works out better.
No, it was 3 mimes.
Hello, Brian. Did you talk about O'Brien?
I did. I wished him well. I haven't seen him in a while. But he went on vacation. He came back. He wasn't well. He tested positive. He's doing very, very well.
He wasn't well, and now he's doing very well? Or he was very well, and now he's not?
He said he's
You haven't talked?
doing very well. I spoke to him yesterday.
Mr. President, are you concerned about reports that a lot of Americans wouldn't accept the vaccine? And what would the administration
No, I'm not concerned. Well, I'm a therapeutic person too. You know,
Yeah. Put your hands down.
to be honest, I love the idea of therapeutics where
Yeah. Why won't your followers take the vaccine? Why are all of them saying that it's a plot? That Bill Gates is using you to stick a needle in their ass? Explain yourself.
you go in, you give somebody a transfusion or a shot, and they get better.
Is that how it works? Like, I swear to God, he always thinks it's like the end of a very special episode of a like Law and Order where somebody's dropped a bioweapon in New York, and after 3 commercial breaks, they've suddenly found the virus cure, and like they give the lead actor a shot, and they're all sweaty and their eyes are all sunken, and then all of a sudden they're getting better after the in the last block.
Big therapeutic person, but we're doing very well on vaccines and therapeutics. Okay?
How about you going to get people to take it? Your people. Explain how you're going to get maggots to take the vaccine. Why does nobody stick with their question? Why is that?
As far as Portland is concerned,
Richie, he's our president, asshat. I'm an American. I give a crap about my country.
we've taken a very strong stand. They are anarchists. They're radical, crazy people.
Yeah. Always the best words.
And they're either going to straighten it out for themselves.
He sounds like a dude at a barber shop in the Bronx. These are radical, crazy people. They're crazy people on the streets. And they're nuts. These people are crazy.
Portland, the police, and maybe if the state gets involved, that means the governor and the mayor.
Why is he doing the white power sign?
But they're very weak people. They're very weak people. These radicals, these anarchists are controlling the governor and the mayor. The mayor went into a rally. It wasn't
We're not talking about a horse, are we?
accurately reported by CNN, by NBC. The mayor went into a rally. He thought he'd be their buddy. They excoriated him.
Yeah, we heard this story yesterday.
What they did to him was incredible.
Incredible. There was yelling. Also, I mean, the horrible thing is all that yelling and bad language in the middle of a riot.
he had 5 bodyguards, but they excoriated him. NBC.
They excoriated him. Oh, well, did they?
I didn't see CNN because I don't watch CNN.
Well, then how do you know it's fake?
NBC absolutely covered it like he was their big buddy. No, he was in great danger of dying.
He was in great danger of dying. Kind of like Steve Mnuchin standing right behind you, you mean?
He would have been dead if he didn't have his bodyguard. These are bad people. These are anarchists. They're agitators. And either they do something or we're going to do it. In the meantime...
The anarchists and the agitators? Or oh, you mean Oregon. Okay, cool.
Our purpose there
Whoa.
is only to
Whoa.
protect our
The guy's had
federal
enough.
buildings, which we're doing.
Gary,
With
get
no
out of the way.
problem.
You're bumping my penis with the back of your
I
head.
mean, they're nasty,
Get out of here.
they're vicious people.
But I gotta,
But
let me get a better settle on
they're
this.
very powerful.
Why are they cutting away? QAnon people, explain to me, what are they not showing right now?
Very powerful.
Oh, that guy got in the way.
Either they're going to clean
Oh,
up
this dude totally lost his position.
Portland soon, or the federal government is going up, and we're going to do it.
Oh, he's moving to get a better position because he knows that he's getting ready to go. Oh, I see. He's been tipping off his favorite press people.
For them. So either they clean out Portland, the governor and the mayor, who are weak. Either they clean out Portland, or we're going in to do it.
Clean it out? What do you mean? Like strafe bomb? We're supposed to napalm Portland?
Okay, thank you very much. Thank you.
Bye. Wait, did Mnuchin go with him, or is he just standing by to help him? And then he goes back inside. Super weird. Okay, so by the way, Trump is participating. This is today's thing. The National Association of Police Organization Leadership, which is not the Fraternal Order of Police. It's an ancillary group. I don't know how many of these groups there are, but this is clearly a Trump supporting one. NAPO, not to be confused with NATO. Germany is not paying our police the money that they owe. Trump meets with the National Association of Police Organization Leadership. So NAPOL. Viva Napol! Viva Napol! N-A-P-O-L! Viva Napol! And you must have trained under him because you have the same, the keen, the cunning, the instinct. Ah, instinct. All right. So, anyways, this is weird though. So NAPO, and I understand it's always hard to do a graphic when you're doing the flag in it. They've got a hole in the middle of the eagle. I don't know what that's about, but okay. Representing America's finest. Okay, cool. And by the way, you're not going to see me hating on cops in general. If you want to see that, go someplace else. You have plenty of places to go. Cops have a horrible job. A lot of times they are simply taking out the garbage for society, and we don't want to do it, so we outsource it, and then we complain that they do what we do in the same panic situation. But even further than that, you need to take the issue of police brutality when it occurs seriously so that you don't endanger the lives of all the good cops. Because why a female cop and her black partner need to get assassinated while sitting in their car because of something Chauvin did in Minneapolis is beyond me. And why anybody would cheer for that or support it in any way is insanity. Tuck your crap. Live like life is complex. Understand that police are part of the equation. And understand we just have to find ways to make them continually better. Okay? So, I don't live in any illusion. And don't let any of these right-wing assholes paint me into a corner that says somehow I want to get rid of the cops. That's their fantasy about their best-case scenario. Ask Cliven Bundy, whose clan put women in front of them, hoping the cops would act on them so they could open fire on the police, and had snipers on a bridge targeting police officers. Ask them about respect for the police and the badge and the thin blue line and all that. What the hell is white the blue? See, no, it says red, white, the blue. Red, white, and the blue? Is the blue in the sign the blue? Okay, don't put the blue on a blue sign. Again, I have problems with the White House graphics anyways. Wheel the TVs in there, have active graphics. I mean, you can, it's 2020. Yeah, defund the police is demilitarize the police. Take the money for tanks and attack helicopters and put it towards social services so the cops don't have to be called when someone is having a mental health episode or is attempting to commit suicide by cop. If you want a rabbit hole, go just type into YouTube killer sentenced. Just those two words, killer sentenced, and you will fall down a rabbit hole of people who have been given 9 shots to get their life together, murdered someone or several someones, oftentimes children, and are finally going away for it. It's a necessary wake-up call to recognize what actually goes on, because people only start bitching about things that they take for granted. You know? So anyways, that's for another conversation. Hey, say what? Welcome back. How are you? Adderall is one of my favorite therapeutics. We'll talk about that in a bit. Also, after this is over, because it's a standard roundtable, so we're going to skip some of the folks that are there because I have no desire even to mock Trump supporting cops. It's not what I'm here for. They don't require my vote. They don't exist because I voted or didn't vote, or any of us voted or didn't vote. They have different, I mean, their existence is not predicated on this little meeting, and they're not to blame for being paraded by this ridiculous, I don't know, what is that? All right. So, oh, by the way, so let's jump in there, and Pence is there, and Pence has got his serious I'm with cops face.
Okay.
This is serious. Mr. President, I want to thank you for your leadership. It has always been a dream of mine to be in the huddle with you, ready for the snap, you bent over, me ready to take that ball, and, oh, God, sorry, that was a mistake. You know what? Can we switch positions?
You guys ready?
You guys ready? Let's do this. I have a thing on a piece of paper to read. I'm going to hide behind some cops that really have risked their lives in their careers while I bone spurred my way out of the military. And in any sane world, these guys would be hooking me up with cuffs right now. Ooh, somebody bumped the mic. Thanks.
Welcome the leaders and friends of mine in many cases of the National Association of Police Organizations. We have some of the great police representatives in the country.
So these are the organizations, all the cop organizations have leaderships. It's kind of like a UN of police organizations. I don't know, NAPO, we'll find out.
Here, maybe the best, I would say, Pat. What do you think, the best?
Well, it's the conglomeration of multiples. Then what is with your fiberglass hairdo today?
Representing more than 240.
Oh. Fox didn't like that. What happened?
Association president.
They had to edit something out. What did he do?
A friend of mine, Mick McHale, who...
Mick McHale. I can't tell if you're saying his name right or wrong at this point.
Who's been tremendous, who I call on occasionally to say what the hell's happening in a certain location. And he...
Great. Is he just on call for your confusion?
Gives me the advice, and
he could go, I don't know. Gee, I'm president. I have access to more intelligence than you, but...
I was very honored to receive the endorsement. That was a great endorsement. We very much appreciate it, Mick. The entire leadership team is here today, representing large portions. What would you say the percentage of police in the country are represented in this room? Big portion?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, very big portion.
What, 2 slices and a scoop of ice cream? What's the portion size, honestly? Because I think if it's got too many carbs in it, you're going to want to cut back. Well, the general idea is that you want a piece of meat the size of your hand and then double the vegetables. And that's a well-rounded meal as far as portions go.
Also,
I'm kidding. Continue stuffing your face with Twinkies. And
thank our Vice President, Mike Pence. He's been very involved in a lot of issues, but this issue is one of his very important ones, I think we can say, Mike, right?
Thank you, Mr. President.
As opposed to, what's the issue? Cops? Just cops in general? then why did you guys eliminate the cops program?
We're here to discuss the unwavering support of our nation's courageous police officers and our determination to defend the safety of all Americans. I just spoke on Portland. I just spoke with Chad Wolf, who's doing a fantastic job at Homeland. And the courthouse is totally secure. It has been ever since we've been there. We had to move.
No, it hasn't actually. There have been a couple IEDs. There's a lot of fireworks. It looks like shit. It's been painted over. They're prying away. There was like dudes inside the barrier throwing stuff. You paintballed them. It's like a game. And secondly, those aren't police. Like, these are all cops you're with. Cops should patrol the streets. Cops get it done. They're local cops. They're state cops. What part?
In about a week and a half ago, because
you're talking about Homeland Security and military.
We're going to take down the federal courthouse. This is not even believable. You know, you tell these stories, it's not even believable.
Yeah, it is. It's believable. We've seen the news and stuff. What's not believable is your take on it.
Homeland Security moved a team of very talented people, strong.
Really? Yeah. There's a bass player among them, and I swear to God, the dude with the beanbag gun has pipes like you would not believe. They're very talented or whatever. I think they need to get their rhythm section together, but their harmonies are on point.
Tough people. And
one of them in the middle of the whole breakdown was doing some oil paintings, glorious, and he was making some really pretty trees, just a couple of really pretty trees. So
courthouse
talented.
Has been in very good shape. They're not an offensive team; they're a defensive team.
Okay, good. All right, so I just want to know what uniforms they're wearing. So it's white tops, black bottoms. I always forget. What is it? A home game?
They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.
They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately. Unlike you, right?
And
they're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately. You do realize these are American citizens and American. What do you want them to do? Park an M50 on the corner and just open fire and just go, well, you know, if you live downwind from it.
People, and the courthouse has been in very good shape. They're not an offensive team; they're a defensive team. They're not allowed to be offensive, unfortunately.
You know what's offensive? That mug. That's rough. That reflection. That would be offensive. If I was him, I would be screaming at the mirror.
And you had radical anarchists. You had.
Is there another kind? Are there kind of laid back anarchists? Seriously. You know what I mean?
Horrible people. You had agitators.
Agitators. They just come by and they go, no. Hi, lady. It was awesome. He had awesome ninjas yesterday. Thank you. Unfortunately, they can't be offensive, but they were agitated. Oh, they walked by and it was just a lot of chafing.
They weren't protests.
He loves agitators for one. And first of all, that's what the Boogaloo Boys are. The people who are operating in and amongst the protesters to ratchet up violence and attempt to cause harm. That's the agitators. Those are the people who aren't the protesters.
There might have been protesters, but the ones that were the problem were absolute anarchists and in many cases professionals.
Professional anarchists. What's the pay grade on that? Do they have dental? I'm just asking for a friend. I mean, right now we've lost a lot of jobs and there's a lot of people unemployed, and I'm sure do they post on LinkedIn?
So a lot of people.
Professional agitators. You know what that means? Soros money.
Have been arrested, and we've told the mayor.
How would it feel to be corporate Antifa? I mean, look at look at the taxes taken out of your check. Can you imagine being Antifa and, you know, spend all night throwing fireworks and spray painting racial epithets on different buildings to make it look like other people are doing it, and you get your check the next day from the globalists, and wink, wink, and like after taxes, it's just murder.
The governor, you better get in there and do your thing, and
yeah, get in there and do your thing, whatever. Yeah, what's the 401k like with anarchists?
They finally, they should have done this 60 days ago. A lot of people have been hurt. A lot of law enforcement people have been hurt, and they should have done this 60 days ago. So now they freed up the
It was going down, and you made it worse.
park, cleaned out the park.
You could have sent in resources. You could have sent in surveillance resources. You could have sent in FBI, because a lot of the crimes, once they cross onto federal grounds, especially if they try to burn the shit down, arsonists go to jail. Do not pass go. Once they did that, the FBI can get involved. There's a fellow named Timothy McVeigh, you might know. A lot of precedent for this kind of thing. And you can use surveillance and scoop those folks up and read them their rights, read them Miranda, do the whole thing, but you're going to get a conviction.
And they're moving their way, and if they have any other
Especially if they're wearing all orange and stand out from the crowd.
problems, we're going to take a very strong offensive force.
No, you're not.
Nothing started because the federal government was there. In fact, if we weren't there, you would not have a courthouse right now. You know, the media, some of the media, not all of it, but some of it,
Not OAN.
they're saying that because the federal government walked in.
No, not because the federal government walked in. Nobody's worried about Health and Human Services or, God damn it, the HUD's rolling in. Everybody get the Molotov cocktails. Are those people from the agricultural department? Jesus Christ, this is war. The federal government stepped in. You sent in unmarked troops, you dummy.
It became worse. No, because
Yeah, it became worse. Yes, it did. Because they went on the offensive. Now, that said, I'm completely under the impression that they were that the agitators that you're calling professional are getting paid by said government federal workers to gin this stuff up because you want it to happen. Maybe maybe the reason why he calls them professional anarchists is because he's the one paying the bills. I mean, I haven't seen a pay stub yet. If he has information I don't, I'd love to hear it. But more than likely, if there's cash changing hands with these assholes, it's coming from the Republican side. And secondly, they scoop these guys up and they hop right in the van and go right with them without putting up a fight. And you know, like anybody who's been up to Portland and Oregon, you know they have a problem with white supremacists and Second Amendment psychopaths and cults and all kinds. Watch Wild Wild Country. Oregon is nuts, right? I mean, Portland is so weird. Austin's like, you know what? Ease up. But at no point, like, do these guys fight back when they get into the van. They just kind of go. Like in New York, you see that person that was snatched off the street? And those were local cops, by the way. These weren't the same thing. But they were taken in another vehicle because they were breaking cameras all over the city. And when you're going to break a camera, I don't want to give you any help, but don't smash it from this side because it can kind of identify you. So they grabbed that person. That person fought like hell, and everybody around them was freaking out. All these dudes in Portland are like, yep, you got me. Pow. And they just hop in the van. I'm like, I don't know. Like, hey, Natalie, I don't know that in that circumstance, even with a tremendous sense of guilt about the fire that I set at the Starbucks that almost killed everyone on the upper 3 floors, you know, for America, that I would hop into a van with soldiers that didn't identify themselves just because you can buy all that shit on Amazon.
The federal government walked in. We saved the U.S. courthouse, the federal courthouse, which is was a magnificent. It will be shortly, but you know, there's graffiti all over it and everything else. That's why we moved.
Yeah, it looks like a Jackie Chan film from 1992.
Because the local police were not protecting federal property.
Love Rumble in the Bronx.
So Homeland Security's done a fantastic.
Remember watching Rumble in the Bronx and looking at the graffiti and the outfits people were wearing and going, this is friggin' ridiculous. And then you look at Portland today and you're like, actually, not that far off.
Fantastic job. I appreciate it. Chad Wolf and the entire team have been fantastic. And it seems
not cops
to be cleaning up. And
basically, he's arguing that cops can't do the job, so we will.
It doesn't clean up. We're going to do something very, very powerful because we have no choice. Not that I want to do it. I don't want to do it, but we have no choice.
What's the very powerful thing? You mean besides defending the place?
In recent weeks, law enforcement has...
I mean, it's just bragging. There's nothing there. He's just going, we're going to totally watch how tough I can be because I can fire and fury.
Become the target of a dangerous assault by the radical left. The left-wing extremists have spread mayhem throughout the streets of different cities, in particular Portland. If you look, Portland is one.
Is it? You haven't mentioned Portland today. Are we in a mental loop, Grandpa?
Seattle certainly would be another. And we were getting ready to go into Seattle. We would have solved that problem very quickly. When they heard that we were going in, they went in. And by that time, the anarchists were exhausted. And
they were exhausted. They'd quit. Most of them had given their 2 weeks notice.
Just raised their hand. They were exhausted and tired, and they had a lot of drugs and a lot of alcohol.
What? They were so, like, they were tapping out. They were completely drunk. Like, guys, seriously though, I am in no shape to do anarchy right now, okay? I can't do it. You guys go ahead. I'm out. Like it's a marathon.
And they just gave up. They just raised their hands. They were sleeping there long enough. They took over actually a piece of Seattle, if you can believe that. Seattle being a major city.
Is it, you think? I don't know.
They took over a piece. So we were.
I thought it was run by Democrats and liberal Democrats at that. How can it become a major city if it had been run very poorly by Democrats who are weak? I mean, honestly, how's that even possible?
Ready to go into Seattle. Everyone knows that. We were going to go in with force, and we didn't have to because
because they went, piss off, we'll take care of ourselves.
The day before we were going in, and we let them know the day before we were going in.
And they're like, yeah, we're handling it. Go away. And they went, okay.
This is what happens.
Thank you, Ninka Crinkles, for gifting the sub to Jorgen Raubrock, which I'm a fan of that name. And do you play bass for a Swedish death metal band, Jorgen Raubrock?
Went in and the anarchists and agitators gave up, and they gave it back. Joe Biden.
Well, they're certainly not professionals. I don't know why you keep calling them professionals, because that is not professional behavior. You don't tap out that early, sleep on the street a couple weeks. You got all the alcohol and drugs you could possibly want. One little push from the local cops, who are apparently very weak. And poof, you throw your hands up. Like, that is not professional. I would like to talk to your manager. Is there an anarchist manager in the chat room? Can I talk to you for a second? I would like to file a complaint.
Biden's pledge to cut police funding. You do know about that, Mick, I assume, right? You've heard
No.
That little rumor? This guy.
That little rumor
has been dragged so far left. Biden has been taken further left than Bernie ever was. Bernie was never this.
That's right. Yeah. Yeah, Biden is to the left of Bernie. Right. Are you just trying to create a unity party? Are you trying to get all the Bernie voters to go, shit, why was I looking at the dude from Vermont when the guy from Delaware could have had my vote this whole time? I feel like a sucker.
I mean, totally open borders and the sanctuary city stuff that he's approving things that Bernie never thought of.
Yeah, he's like unbelievable. Like he wants a hammer and a sickle carved into the Washington Monument, and he wants Richard Wolff to be the chairman of the Fed.
Supposed to be, they were going to take him right. They took Biden way left of where Bernie was.
Yeah? Okay. How so? I really want to hear this. I need to know. And by the way, to all the Bernie bros out there, eat shit. Apparently, your dude was a poser, and you should have been supporting Biden the whole time.
Because they have the manifesto. I don't know. Have you seen the manifesto they've?
It's not a manifesto. They had a unity agreement manifesto. It wasn't bound, like hand bound like the Unabomber wrote it in a shack. You read their manifesto?
Now I understand they can't get any police in Milwaukee because you're not allowed to use pepper spray.
Thanks, Tamara. Is it Tamara or Tamara? I'm curious. Because I grew up with a Tamara in my middle school. Her mom hired some people to kill her dad and she moved away. That's a long time ago. But she was a Tamara.
Or tear gas, because if you have crowds, but I don't think there's any.
No, you can use pepper spray. You can't use CS gas. You can't use tear gas. Because it's considered a military grade dispersal, meaning you only use it on the enemy.
The way other than the obvious way, which would be horrible, and that shooting itself, which would be horrible.
I see. These are our options. There's really only, yeah, unlike Mein Kampf, which he had on his nightstand, apparently. My struggle. Oh, because Hitler was a whiner, too. My struggle. My struggle. All right. Yeah, it's a true story, Jillian.
But I don't know how you can control a crowd if the crowd is,
If I can't tear gas them and I can't shoot them, what other options do you have?
Crowds anything like what you have at Portland, there's no way you could possibly do it without tear gas.
Tear gas. That's what they used in Seattle to get rid of everybody. Tear gas. It makes, when you get high, and instead of paranoid, you get like morbid. Just, I don't know what I'm doing.
Pepper spray. Pat, would you say that's a correct statement?
I agree. You have to control the streets. You have to do it fairly, but you have to do it.
Yeah. So use pepper spray and pepper balls, but not tear gas, and make the distinction and understand that's the distinction they made. Thank you, Wiki.
It's pretty amazing.
Wicked
right?
smart.
So you have no police that want to go to Portland because they know they can't do their job. You have to give.
Why would police go to Portland? Portland has police. I don't know any cops in Cleveland who want to be stationed in. What are you talking about? Police are local. State police are local to their state. What police are you talking about?
Equipment to do the job?
Yeah, send in Duke Nukem. Where is it?
It's incredible. They're not going to go till Milwaukee. So what's going to happen in Milwaukee, Mick? What do you think?
Well,
I think they're going to, they have to talk to Schlemiel and Schlemazel and Haas and Pfeffer Incorporated. But
they're going to have the mad exodus that we're seeing in other parts of the country. And it, again, sir, it's the exposure of these men and women who continue to suit up and provide the safety that they took an oath to. And we want to, as an association, but we speak for all law enforcement, and thanking you personally for your executive order, which allowed us to surplus equipment. That equipment is saving our lives, literally, sir.
yeah, we don't have a problem with the shields and the helmets and the vests. That's necessary sometimes. We have a problem with like these like ATVs with mounted cannons on them.
And we thank you. We thank you for all of us.
You don't have to take the whole package.
Thank you. Yeah. No, that was very controversial. The previous administration didn't want to do that. We had.
Yeah, because the Constitution forbids the military policing the citizenry. And if there's a thin line from when cops transition over into soldiers.
Hundreds of millions of dollars worth of equipment, really good military equipment. Good stuff, and a lot of it.
Good stuff. It's great. Whatever. Lots of fiber, vitamin C, goes right through you. Nature's broom, really, those attack helicopters.
Protective. It was defensive equipment, where like vehicles that
No.
very strong in terms of defense capability, where you wouldn't get
Defense capability, right.
hurt with the windows are, you know, shatterproof, etc., and bulletproof.
And bulletproof,
And,
with rifle mounts on them and rifle holes in them.
We
Right.
gave that out to our police departments. It was sitting there gaining dust. That was the only.
Gaining dust. That's the only thing your truck is missing right now, folks, is dust. That's right. Gaining dust. It means collecting dust.
It was gaining was dust.
No, collecting dust. The phrase is collecting dust.
And we gave that out to all of our police departments all over the country. And you have no.
Yeah, Rabbit Hash, Kentucky does not need a tank. I'm just saying. I mean, they love it. They'll park it in the middle of town and people take pictures on it all the time. But, every third mayor is a dog. I don't think it's a good idea.
Every time I go someplace, the police thank me for that. This is stuff that was just getting less and less valuable. Much of it was brand new, but getting less and less valuable.
Dusty, but brand new.
Sitting in warehouses. Probably the government was paying a lot of rent to the warehouses. And
And now, why should the government pay rent to house these things and service them when we can drop them off all over the country and have local taxpayers pay for it?
it's been a great thing. So, as a
Thanks,
result
Durbin.
of the outrageous attacks on law enforcement, violent crime has surged in certain Democrat-run cities. Many of them. I mean, you look at New York; it's up 348%. Whoever.
Okay, what's the actual number? What's the actual number? 348% from when? What's your baseline? Don't give me the percentage. If anybody gives you the percentage and doesn't give you the actual number, they know the actual number sounds pitiful. If they give you the actual number but don't give you the percentage, they think the actual number sounds amazing until you hear where it is across the spectrum.
A number like that, because you have a radical left.
Yeah, at one point, Schaumburg, Illinois was the fastest growing city in America because there were 4 people living there and 8 people moved in. Holy shit, the growth, percentage-wise, is off the charts.
Who doesn't know what he's doing? He doesn't know
Uh-oh, a little projection this early in the
what
morning.
he's doing. I don't understand even how
That's true.
the police can allow it to happen. That's the only thing. We talk about that. But you look at Chicago. In Chicago, more than 2,200 people have been shot. Okay, think of that, shot. Now, that's far worse than Afghanistan.
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. First of all, if you're talking about, like, crime, as far as, like, people who were shot in robberies in Afghanistan, like, where in the world would you think they have proper law enforcement statistics in Afghanistan? That Afghanistan is keeping good records on the number of people who are, you know, a firearm is discharged in the commission of a crime. Honestly.
We're leaving Afghanistan fairly shortly, but we see things that
You're leaving it in great shape.
in
Thanks, Joe Space.
Chicago and other places
Stellar.
that you don't see in Afghanistan. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, you don't see a lot of stuff in Afghanistan that we have here, like running water and like functioning cities. There's no Seattle in Afghanistan. There's no Chicago in Afghanistan.
40% increase from 2019. And the hard thing is that crime is down nationwide. So I'm taking all of these Democrat-run cities, and we're putting them in with the well-run cities.
Wait, 40% increase from 2019 for what period? Since the beginning of the year? Over the last 2 months? For the month of June?
Republican, largely Republican well.
So there were 12, and then we're adding about 8 more this year? Tell me the actual number. Tell me the actual number.
States. And with all of this shooting that you see in Chicago and New York and
That's an excellent point, Ninka. So if Chicago is worse than Afghanistan, does that mean Russia's putting more bounties on our soldiers in Chicago?
well, Minneapolis had a bad period, but we sent in the National Guard.
Hey, pronounced it right. That is the first time. He didn't say Minneapolis. I don't think we're going to get out of this without him doing it, but that's a good sign. The Adderall's kicked in.
Guard did a fantastic job, and they stopped it. That place would have burned down. Minneapolis would have burned down if I didn't force the National Guard into that. And you saw that.
The 4th precinct always has problems. The whole city isn't going to burn down. No, nobody's going to let them burn down Paisley Park or 7th Avenue.
Form, right? It's a beautiful thing. All of a sudden, you see a line of people. They walk through it like a knife through butter.
Sorry. A knife through butter would be a point. You create a line like this. That would be a knife with schmear. Perhaps it's a better, it's like a knife with schmear. A knife through butter. What a bunch of shit.
And that was the end of the problem. And
yeah, it was because there wasn't one. It's amazing how they were able, there was no resistance. Maybe because the people who were protesting didn't need that kind of overreaction.
Minneapolis, so, we have to do that. But in New York City, nearly 300 people have been shot in the last month alone. Murders are up 32% in Philadelphia and 80% in...
Notice he used the static number in New York. but not the percentage because it's a big city.
Minneapolis compared to last year. Minneapolis, great place too. And Philadelphia, you think of it.
Thanks, Gorilla in the Mist. Love your show. Make me laugh. Thanks. I'm trying. I'm doing it, Gorilla. Oh, and by the way, just because words are used to lighten a subject does not mean the subject is taken lightly. I take cops' lives very seriously. No kidding, no messing around. But I will joke about this clown non-stop.
Went to school in Philadelphia. You look at these numbers. In cities across the nation,
You went to school in Philadelphia. Someone else went for you.
we've also seen police officers
A good friend of mine, Joe Shapiro, took a test in Philadelphia.
assaulted with bricks, rocks, bats, Molotov cocktails, frozen bottles of water. Somebody said last night, one of these protesters, I saw it, he said, "It's only water. How could water hurt you?" Yeah, they don't say it's frozen in a bottle the size of a football.
It's not frozen. They're not throwing giant blocks of ice like it's 1800s.
And they throw it at the police. It's unbelievable.
It's completely believable. It's bullshit. Arrest them. The locals can arrest them. I'm honest to God. If you want to help them gather up the people who are doing that particular thing. But if you act out against the public and the protesters in particular acting like it's one big giant group with the exact same motivation amongst everyone, then you give them more cover. This is just dumb.
It's water. And
it's water.
They have cans of soup. And they throw the cans of soup. That's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick. It's too heavy.
First of all, I think we all appreciate the Crocodile Dundee reference that we're seeing right before our eyes. I mean, a can of soup in a purse snatching, probably your best weapon. But is someone trying to tell me no one can throw a brick? Thanks, lady. I appreciate
a can
it.
of soup, you can really put some power into that, right?
Yeah, you really can. Not obviously now. Espresso maybe, or you want the condensed soup, you know what I mean? Because if it had the water added, that's a little hard and it'll tumble end over end. I mean, we're not talking about Progresso. Chunky? Nobody's throwing chunky. Why would you throw soup you can eat with a fork?
Yes, sir.
And then when they get caught, they say, "No, this is soup for my family."
That's what they say. Really? No, that was soup for my family. Why is it 18 feet away? Well, I can throw it further than a brick. No, what? This is a brick for my family. I'm building a home. Jesus Christ.
You're so innocent. This is soup for my family.
That's what they say? Please tell me there's video of somebody going, "But this is soup for my family." Please tell me they have like a really cliched accent from the 30s. "But sir, this is a soup for my family. Why would I throw? This is a soup for my family." It's Chinatown, Jake. But it's soup. Shit.
It's incredible. And you have people.
It's incredible. People throwing. This is soup. Like, I want them to arrest the dude who is catching the cans of soup. This is soup for my family. Like these dudes trying to hit cops, and this guy's just running along, snatching them and throwing them in a bag. Soup. This is soup for my family. Like, Latka Gravis is just snagging them at the rim. Thank you very much. Punk. Oh God. Oh, that'd be so funny. Why are you catching all these cans? Because it is soup for my family. If it's soup for your family, you're on the wrong side of the line. Why did you join the police force? It's the greatest place to catch soup for my family.
Coming over with bags.
That's what they say. Bags of Bibi says bags of soup. Oh God.
Soup. Big bags.
Big bags of soup.
For my family. They're so innocent. This is soup for my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup. Big bags.
Okay, I need. That's got to be a soundbite. Holy shit!
It's better than a brick because you can't throw a brick; it's too heavy. But a can of soup, you can really put some power into that, right?
Yes, sir.
And then when they get caught, they say, "No, this is soup for my family." They're so innocent. This is soup for my family. It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police.
And what he's talking about, by the way, is the frozen water. I haven't seen the bags of cans of soup, but in Chicago, there was a strategic attack where they used pipes and they pulled their sign across and they planned this whole thing. They changed outfits. They had bags of frozen water. They're assholes. Arrest them. They have nothing to do with Black Lives Matter protests. This is just violence and organized violence. But bags of soup.
And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force.
And it's got vitamin C and fiber. It's got force. What? If soup hits you, it's worse than a brick. This is really weird.
It's incredible. And you have people coming over with bags of soup, big bags of soup, and they lay it on the ground, and the anarchists take it and they start throwing it at our cops, at our police. And if it hits you, that's worse than a brick because it's got force. It's the perfect size. It's like made perfect. And when they get caught, they say, "No, this is just soup for my family." And then the media says, "This is just soup. These people are very, very innocent. They're innocent people."
Look at him. He's looking right into the camera right now. I'm telling you, this is holy shit. Oh, God. Look at him. He's staring right in the camera. He means this. We're going to start Soup Force. Absolutely. We've got to fight back. You whip a brick at someone, and the problem is you look up, who doesn't like a nice can of soup? So there you are, bing, right in the forehead. If it was a brick, you'd go, bricks are coming. Everybody else is happy to see soup, and the next thing you know, you're dead.
Is it just protesters? Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting?
Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting? That's what, the worst thing was when Nicole Wallace was, they were showing videos of people chucking cans of soup at cops, and she went, "Isn't it wonderful to allow protesting?" Words never said on television. Yeah.
No, and by the way, the media knows it better than we do. They know
what, that you're insane?
what's going on. I don't know what's wrong with them.
I don't know what's wrong with them. They keep pointing to the fact that they get all fixated on the fact that I retweeted a woman who thinks demon semen causes fibroid cysts.
Our country a tremendous disservice, I'll say that.
Thanks, Mick. This one is especially good. I thought it would be a soft one today, Mick, because I'm always concerned about anything he does with cops, because I have family who are law enforcement. You have to understand, I am very realistic about the job that law enforcement does. I have no illusions that somehow it's easy and all this Monday morning quarterbacking that happens with a lot of this shit that goes down. I don't do that at all. So when this is the kind of stuff, I'm like, this is the kind of ugly shield this asshole puts up in front of himself. People who really do tough stuff for a living, and then he's like, "I'm just like them," But Christ.
But in cities all across our nation, we've seen
soup, attacks with soup, and they don't even follow it up with dessert.
Our police
There's soup, and then the main course, and then cake.
Officers so badly assaulted. In Portland and the other cities, my administration is vigorously defending federal property from anarchists and criminals. We've also launched Operation
which is your job, I think.
Legend, surging federal law enforcement to communities plagued by violent crime.
Mm-hmm. Which will do nothing unless they're given permission. But what exactly are the forces on the ground supposed to do? I mean, because if you snatch folks up and you don't read the Miranda, they're going to be on the street faster than that night. We have laws in this country. You're supposed to be the law and order president. You should know this. And not only will they get out, but they'll win a lawsuit. And you can buy a lot of junk guns and ammo with a city settlement.
And we're willing to help Chicago. We're willing to help New York.
Help.
We're willing to help Philadelphia. Any city you want.
Great. Here's a great idea. Step down. Be super helpful. Thank you, Jillian.
But by law, unless we go a special route, which we have the right to do, but it's very rarely done.
The very special route. What special route is this?
Moon River. You using the whole fist, Doc?
The special route.
Thank you, Doc. You ever serve time?
We have to be asked by the local government, by the mayors and by the governors. And
yeah. Remember when Republicans used to be all about states' rights? Have we just thrown that shit out the window?
They don't want to do it. I think for two reasons. Number one, they're embarrassed to do it. And number two, I actually think they're afraid of these people. If you want.
Right. Which people are you talking about? The people who are murdering people? Or the people who will become collateral damage and you'll have like blocks and blocks of Breonna Taylors because of actions like this? Because I think that's the bigger fear.
Know the truth. I actually think these are radical left maniacs, and
radical left, and they're to the left of, they're to the right of Bernie Sanders, which makes them to the left of Joe Biden. You know, the Catholic from Delaware.
I think, Pat, I think they're afraid of these people. I think.
Oh, they're scared. I mean, I have a very Steven Seagal 1986 marked for death idea of what crime is like.
I'm afraid of those people that I see in Portland, and to a lesser extent that I've seen in Seattle. I mean, the Portland is a tougher
same.
group.
They shop at the same store, though. I mean, it's.
You know, they've been doing that for years.
Did somebody just step on a dog? What the shit was that? Wait.
Maniacs, and I.
Wait.
Do, but it's very rarely done. We have to be asked by the local government, by the mayors and by the governors, and they don't want to do it.
Somebody passed out.
I think for two reasons. Number one, they're embarrassed to do it, and number two, I actually think they're afraid of these people, if you want to know the truth. I actually think these are radical left maniacs, and I actually think, Pat, I think they're afraid of these people. I think they're afraid of those people that I see in Portland, and to a lesser extent that I've seen in Seattle. I mean, the Portland is a tougher group. You know, they've been doing that for years.
Yeah, did one of these cops just choke a dog to death to show how tough he was at the table? Like, this guy's so tough, he's got to kill a puppy every 10 minutes, or he snaps and has a roid rage.
Years to Portland. They've been doing it.
This is the results of an Abbott machine coming in, yeah.
Years and years to Portland, and the police.
Sir, your demon sperm sample is ready.
And I don't believe it's a police.
Do you want it on top or a la mode?
Fault. They're not allowed to do it. They're good police, but they.
House Sparks fans are the best. This is absolutely true, bar none. Greatest group.
They can do it. Let's see how they do tonight. Last night, it was a big step, but let's see how they do. So it's an honor to have the associations.
These poor guys.
Here, we have been with them. I've had endorsements from so many police, and I don't even say thank you anymore. I say, what's your choice? Your choice is me or somebody that has no clue what they're doing. And
yeah, because you know what's going on. You came in, caused more trouble. Now you're leaving. Other cities don't want you in. You have no coordination with them. You have no other than direct force. You can't even comprehend how the federal government can be useful or is useful the rest of the time.
And I say that kiddingly.
This is an asshole who uses the U.S. Marshals like their bumpers in bumper pools.
But I sort of mean it, right? I sort of mean it.
I sort of mean it. Well, that's Trump Pence 2020. We sort of mean it.
So our relationship with law enforcement has been outstanding, and with firefighters. I mean, you have firefighters that go to put out a fire, and people are shooting at them. They're literally shooting at them as they're putting out the fire. Guys are going up on ladders, and people shoot at them.
Yeah. It's not a partisan issue.
But we have great support from fire.
So, and my opponent wants people to shoot firefighters.
Firefighters. Usually just the top one or two people don't support us, because they're used to something else. But every
they're used to something else. You mean a functioning government?
But in there, we have tremendous support from the police, the firefighters, and almost every group of
just make it up. Why not?
People that are associated with the things that we're doing and doing really well. But I want to thank you all very much from the bottom of my heart. I appreciate those endorsements. We really do. It's really.
You wouldn't be here if you didn't give them to me.
Great, and you will never be let down with me. I have tremendous respect for what you do. It's dangerous. It pays not as well as they could do elsewhere. Many of the people, but they're discouraged. Many of the people, they do it. They love it, right? They love it. They would nothing they'd rather do. This is what they want to do. But it's a very dangerous profession, and we are going to toughen it up a lot because.
No, you don't want to toughen it up a lot. You want to make them more secure, and you want to make their interactions with the public as transparent as possible for the safety of the public and the officers. Toughening up is not the problem. The guys that really need the like not protecting their head going into the car, all that bullshit you've been talking about, those guys don't care. They've got bullets in them already. Half these assholes in Chicago are walking around with bullets that haven't been taken out. These guys aren't scared. They're not scared by the tough part. They want it. It gives them an excuse to open fire.
The mayors.
I hate it when he quotes commando.
And the governors aren't allowing you to do your job.
Yes, they are. You're just confused about what their job is. They're not soldiers.
And you got to be allowed to do your job. When you see the things that we've seen in St. Louis, and by the way, you look at the last
St. Louis. Oh, we're moving from Minneapolis to St. Louis.
Administration with Ferguson and all.
Yeah. When after Ferguson, they got a handle on things and it didn't spiral out of control for months. And they put together the COPS program to deal with some of the issues and also allow the community to know that the issues were being dealt with so that they wouldn't overreact the next time something like this happened, because there are somewhere in the order of 40 million police interactions a year, and an incredibly small sliver of them involve someone unarmed being shot. So you want the public to take that in context, but you also need to let them know that the federal government is doing something about those moments to mitigate them as much as possible all the time, so they don't blame the rest of the cops. See, this requires thought, though. I'm sorry. What am I thinking?
The problems they've had. I mean, they had some problems that are doozies. People said, "Oh, the last administration."
Yeah, these are all the people like, the last administration. Like, he's such a whiny bitch about this.
That's what started a lot of this. If you look,
that's what it was. It was because Obama was president that all these black people think they can go out there and paint stuff on the street now.
Some of the things that they had, I could name 10 of them right now.
Okay, go ahead. Let's hear it.
But we have to strengthen up because you're
strengthen
being told.
Up. Come on, guys, strengthen up.
To do things that can't happen.
Oh my God.
In Seattle, they're reducing the force by massive numbers. In Portland, they're reducing their force. Can you imagine that? In Portland, they're reducing their force by massive numbers.
Massive numbers. I'm guessing if I look that up, it's not going to be the case.
The governor, like in Oregon, the governor said
Oregon
things that are just
goodbye.
Unbelievable. She doesn't want it to get better. The mayor.
Yeah, they don't want it to get better. I heard her say that. That was her platform that she ran on. I know the people of Portland really have they love this city. They've lived here their whole life, but I'm running on a very unique platform. I don't want things to get better. Vote for me.
Of Seattle, the things that she said. We're going to have a summer of love. There's something going on that is crazy.
Yes, there is.
Remember this, though. Most of our cities are doing really, really well. And despite the pandemic, and we're doing a good job on that, we have vaccines that are really getting close. We have therapeutics that are really getting close. But despite all of that, these cities are doing very well, and law enforcement's at an all-time good.
At an all-time good. Yes, he does think love is crazy. I mean, he's had 3 marriages without any of it, so I can understand how he feels that way. At an all-time good. the best words. You know, I would let a lot of this shit slide if he didn't just brag all the time about how, you know, how good he talk.
So most of it's good. We only talk about the bad, but most of it's good. Pat, would you like to say something and representing our New York's finest? And we'll go around the room a little bit.
We sure do. You know, in our city, we're going through a difficult time. We have a progressive mayor that's anti-police, a city council that's anti-police, and the state house is anti-police. So they're changing the law where it's becoming impossible to do our job. And remember what our job is, to keep folks safe. You do that by helping the good people, going after the bad people. They're stopping us from doing that. So we come down here.
So the mayor tells you, you can't do that. You cannot, your job is to keep people.
The mayor tells you, you cannot protect the good people and go after the bad people. I'm not going to allow it. I'm a progressive mayor.
Safe, right? So is that a higher calling than listening to a mayor?
Well, you know what? They're the boss in our town, so we have to go by the rules they set. The problem is the rules they are setting, the laws they're passing, are making it impossible, because what happens then, we're criminally charged. So we come here today, Mr. President, to ask for help, to have a discussion on what we need.
Charge you criminally?
Yeah, they can charge us criminally, yes, sir. It's disgraceful. It's like they reversed the world. It's the upside-down world right now. And I have 36 years in the job. I've never seen it this bad, sir.
Never been anything like it. Hey, look.
No, hey. It's almost like I'm the shittiest president ever.
I lived in New York, and we never had a problem in New York. New York.
Yeah, it's weird. During the Obama administration, even with the Ferguson stuff, there was never a situation where somehow they had to change laws in New York.
Rudy did a great job as mayor, in all fairness, because before that, but I think this is...
In all fairness, he did a great job as mayor, impregnating your wife and giving birth to Eric. I kid.
...than the Dinkins era now. How do you compare this to the Dinkins era?
It's worse. You know, we had disturbances back during Mayor Dinkins' time, but we had it in one neighborhood, possibly two. We had disturbances recently in 3 boroughs, sir. You know, we have neighborhoods where your father started that it's going back to be crime-ridden. Into Manhattan, where you did so much building, it's starting to go back to crime-ridden, where they looted in Midtown. So obviously there's a problem.
Dinkins, if you go back to that period.
Looting is still against the law in New York? I'm just checking.
Everybody respected the police, and the police were allowed to do their job in all fairness. There was never like, we're going to cut our police force. It was always, we're going to get more police, in all fairness. And
yeah, but the funding for the police, the money isn't necessarily that they're lowering the number of cops.
Rudy came in and did a great job. So, you know, it's one of those things.
But then Trump's actually pushing for stop and frisk again, so...
I think you have to do what you have to do. I mean, you have to keep people safe. You have to keep people safe.
Which people are we talking about?
Go ahead, please.
Mr. President, it just, you know, the level of attacks that are going at us, going after our
not from me.
Qualified immunity, going after our due process rights. It's a complete assault on the people who are paid to protect.
Oh yeah, there are no masks here. That's adorable. By the way, let's see. Again, I'm going to skip past these folks because he's going to chime in.
Use of force, which to me is going to make us look worse on the street.
You know what people don't understand is that the people, the voters, are with you guys 100%. I'll bet you if you looked, it would be really, I don't want to say a number because then they'll say, oh, he was wrong on the number. The number is, you know, 2 points lower. It would be tremendously, it's a tremendous number. The people of our country love you guys.
I like 4. I'm a big fan of that. It's a tremendous number. 8's very lovely. It's bubbly, soft, nice lines.
The people of our country want protection. They want safety.
Mm-hmm.
And what they're doing is they're just stripping. This radical left movement is stripping you of everything.
Yeah. He was so disappointed that Biden didn't have anything about defunding the police or abolishing the police in the charter that he signed with the Sanders campaign.
And we're not going to let that happen. How about you?
How about you, whoever you are?
I work for the National Association, so I work for all these gentlemen and all their issues.
So you see it all, right?
Yes, and I just want to say thank you for giving us a seat.
Read from a script is your actions. You can say you support police, but then pass laws that hurt us, so we know it's not true. If you remember when we turned our back on the mayor at the time, we had just had 2 police officers assassinated. What folks don't understand is we went to City Hall and begged that they stop the rhetoric. We said someone's going to get hurt. You know what happens? It was worse. They got killed. Ramos and Lou were assassinated in our favorite borough, Brooklyn. You know, so it was a serious time.
And by the way, he's right. This dude's right. I'm not a fan that he's a supporter of Trump per se or whatever, but he's not wrong about the dangers that police face. And a lot of New York cops get assassinated just sitting there on stakeouts, trying to catch, you know, rapists and shit.
Serious incident, sir.
And do you see it turning around? Do you see it going back where the politics?
Yeah, when Biden gets elected and things are normal and you just eliminate the chokehold, but everything else is on the table.
Are going to get smart.
Yeah, you just wear body cameras. Because more people watch the body camera footage, the more pro-cop they become.
The numbers will get bad. And
yeah. So the communities have to realize that it's not just rhetoric, it's really their blood on the streets that's happening. And as I said, the numbers are going back to 1990s and shooting. So I think that's when it visits your kitchen.
I mean, obviously, this is something that you can't, you know, this is obviously Obama's fault.
Pat's got a problem, and whatever he needs from us, we got his back.
It's like a mafia meeting.
I think the cops in New York have to get tough again.
We want to. We have.
Oh boy.
We have the skill and the tools.
They got a big voice. You know, you got a lot of people. That's a great force, and they have to get tough again.
That's the problem. It's the problem. The cops have just been weak, guys. That's what's it. And you know, I didn't realize it. It's a good point that he draws attention to. The cops just have not been tough. You know, there's just not tough cops anymore. They're all doughy and weak and stuff. I'm not my words. These are the president's words, of course, but
they're going to have to take it and they're going to have to, you just said they have to protect, you're sworn to protect the people. You know, there's a point at which you have to, that's also an order coming down, protect the people. And I think Florida's going to be in great shape with your governor.
What did that mean? Was that a sentence?
Everything else. But you got to always watch it, John.
No, we do. We really do.
The dew is like a shell today. If I was Benny Hinn, I would sue him for plagiarism.
And
hairjurism? I don't know.
We're out there working it, and like I said, we represent over 30,000, and we got a lot of retirees from New York and New Jersey. Thank you.
You think?
Do they come into the force? Can you
Well,
imagine? We train them in New
No.
York. They leave after 20 years and they go to Florida.
They go to court.
And they become police. They have a good.
No, they don't. They open a bar.
They have a good life, right?
Haven't you seen Running Scared?
Do you want to say something, Mick?
Yes.
Yeah. What time is soup?
I think what's important and what radiates to our membership, sir, is your support that we're entitled to due process. And I don't think enough of the public realizes that. But your message, getting behind our profession and simply...
I'm behind your profession when it's used properly. This guy's just behind it because he thinks he needs it to get elected. And it makes him look artificially tough.
Going to end up like Portland. The mayor goes into the crowd the other night.
Oh, and he's not
and
very
I
popular
watched
and
very
dangerous.
carefully.
He didn't have
and I
5
saw
bodyguards.
Exactly what happened. He was excoriated. He was
excoriated. It's our favorite new word.
And after him, it was incredible, right? Yes. And shouting at him, resign, get out of here, we don't want you. Horrible.
Horrible. Get out of here, resign, we don't want you. Terrible epithets. Can you imagine the language? That somebody yelled, take it on the heel and toe. I've never been so offended in my entire life.
And yet I
had to cover Barron's ears. I'm kidding. I'm never around that kid.
On NBC News, Lester Holt, on your news, Peter, if you watch that newscast, it was though it was a big, beautiful thing that he went in with the people. They didn't show the shouting and the get out of here, and they were rough. They would have ripped him apart. Peter, he had 5 bodyguards. 5 bodyguards.
Were they the kind that will stand outside the door while you're sexually assaulting someone? You know, like a shilling type of a deal.
Have those bodyguards, you'd be talking about a funeral right now because they were looking to do a bad thing on him, and he got out with his life. And yet I watched NBC. I was watching for some.
Did he rappel out? How did he leave the scene without being killed? 5 bodyguards? It's like 700 people around him. Those guys must be the toughest guys. Why aren't those 5 bodyguards sitting at this table right now? Let's get the hiring practices of the Portland mayor in charge, because we could have wrapped up Afghanistan in a couple of weeks.
Reason NBC nightly news, not even MSDNC. watching NBC Nightly News, and if you watch that, it looked like he was a man of the people, the mayor. They would have ripped him apart. It just shows you, you need some help from the media. You need a little fair help from the media. What would you say, John?
I agree with
What would you say, John? Let's see. LPV.org. I don't know what this is. I don't know what this is. Portland City Council approves budget cutting additional $15 million from police. Falls short of the... Okay, so the police in Portland have a yearly budget of $244 million. Looking this up right now for your own advocate. You can look up these figures on your own if you so choose. $244 million the police force gets every year. Advocates for reforming the police wanted a $50 million cut from that 244. They wanted $50 million cut from the $244 million that the Portland police get to do their jobs. Ultimately, they cut $15 million from the fiscal year, the upcoming fiscal year, which means next year. At the end of this year, there'll be $15 million less next year. No one is saying where that $15 million will go, but I'm guessing it's not going to be taken away from salary or actual human beings. If anything, that's a $15 million you would use. That's ancillary. You're talking about staples at this point, or or gassing up the tank. $244 million. They cut $15 million. That's a very big number, according to him.
Mr. President, I'm from New York City, also with Patty, and I cover south of 59th Street, Manhattan South. The old show Beretta.
A lot of New York. The old show Beretta. We're starting that way. Here we go.
Remember? Their theme song was "Don't Do the Crime." If you
Thanks, Natalie. Hi.
can't do the time, they're not doing time anymore. And the police want to do their job, and they're out there doing their job. It's not even a revolving door anymore. It's an open door where it comes right back out. The riots, the same people looting, were arrested 3 nights in a row. They were back out the next day with their teams. The police.
That's a judge issue then. That's not a cop issue. You're arresting them 3 nights in a row. How are they, if they're making bail and they're appearing before the judge the next night and you go, this guy's already released on bond for the same activity, that's a judge problem. And it's a local one. So New York, vote for judges that wouldn't release a looter 3 nights in a row.
They want to do their jobs. They want to protect the communities. They love their communities.
And yet they go after General Flynn, who did nothing wrong.
No relation.
Yeah, he lied to the FBI, and he admitted it.
They go after General Flynn, I know.
No relation. Look at that. John Flynn is the guy's name, and he doesn't even want to be associated with Michael Flynn.
You look like his brother, maybe a little bit.
You look like his brother. What? Look at that guy. That guy looks like Santa's brother. I love that guy. John Flynn looks awesome. He doesn't look anything like Michael Flynn. Unless you're saying all mix look alike. Is that what we're doing? We're doing Irish now? Is that what's happening?
But they'll go after General Flynn and these people that did nothing wrong.
They worked as foreign operatives and they had access to national security. Thanks, Pamela.
That's great at St. Patrick's Cathedral.
By the way, it's the 31st. It's a good day to become a Patreon subscriber. Patreon.com/HalSparks. That's right. I'm talking to you, Facebook. That's right, where you can't super chat or give me little super hearts like they do over. Show them how it works. Periscope. It's great. And Twitch, you guys are amazing. Hi.
Whether it's a cathedral, a mosque, a synagogue, There's a gentleman who's painting a blue line in Staten Island down the street, and he's getting letters of threat from the city to cease and desist the painting of a line. The buildings all over Manhattan are scribbled with anti-police messages and other things. And
Yeah, and the New York subway, somebody took a Sharpie and wrote anti-Semitic stuff, and the people of New York wiped it off. And that doesn't mean that New York, that everybody was saying, look how anti-Semitic New York is, when in reality, look at how the people of New York, one dude with a Sharpie makes some graffiti, and a bunch of people on the train, everybody on the train, cleans it up and tells him to go pound sand.
nothing happens, but you paint one blue line down the street, and they want to summon you and possibly arrest you.
Good point. It's true. It's true. They can do it.
Yeah. Blue lines are not proper driving lines. It might be confusing if people think, oh, is that just, am I in the cop lane? Why is it blue? Words are very different when they're obviously like Black Lives Matter or something like that is written out. You could even write Blue Lives Matter. You'd probably be able to make the case that you could keep it there. Thank you, Kelly.
You do one blue line, and they make it like it's a mortal sin. Right?
Yeah, it's weird. It's imagine if I went out onto any, I don't know, major street and just started, I prefer dashes to straight lines. It's just a thing. So I'm just going to paint over sections of the line. You know, they would treat me horribly.
That's terrible. Do you ever think you'd see that?
No, sir.
And this has been happening now for a long time.
I would never thought there'd be torturing police vehicles in Manhattan.
Why? They've done it before. This is a period of unrest. Don't be surprised by shit. You shouldn't be caught off guard when something like George Floyd happens and it's so egregious and people are reacting to it like that, and then there's pushback, and this asshat is telling people that don't wear a mask in the middle of a pandemic, and everybody's been bottled up. How do you not think New York's going to be a powder keg?
Light them on fire.
And you could stop it instantaneously.
Why? By shooting them in the head? By eliminating due process? Again, this isn't Afghanistan.
The orders, right?
Yes, sir.
Instantaneously.
Instantaneously. We're just moving to Judge Dredd at this point?
Jumping on top, hitting them with sledgehammers.
And the cops want to stop it.
They want to stop it, yeah.
Yeah, and they can. He just said they arrested some dude 3 nights in a row for looting.
Oh, they'd stop it very easily. Please, go ahead.
Please, whoever you are, go ahead. I can't read your sign from there. We'll go back over here, and then he'll talk to himself.
We have to enforce the laws as politicians.
In New York, they fired some of the best policemen in the world, your crime fighters, and they let them go. How many was that? At what group?
You know, it's that we're losing huge numbers, and we have a problem on both ends, sir. We're losing members that are deciding to retire, upwards of 1,000. They're canceling classes of our young women and men that want to come on the job and serve, so they're not even bothering hiring them. And then, of course, that's going to drop too, because who would want to go into this profession at this time on this day? It's a problem, sir.
We're going to get it changed.
What was that? Like, he thought there was some sort of story there. The dude's saying that people are retiring early and people aren't joining the force right now. And he's saying they got rid of your crime fighters.
And they let them go. How many was that?
Yeah, tell me how many.
You don't have the backing of the people running the city, the elected people running the city. It's becoming a problem.
Yes, sir, it is. It's becoming a major problem all across the nation.
By the way, mayors, take a note from the mayor of Atlanta. Stand by your cops, and if there are bad cops, broom them out. But yes, this is still going, Natalie. It's intolerable.
We don't write laws.
And this would be a lot shorter if he didn't keep chiming in because he wants to pretend he's a tough guy.
Politicians.
In New York, they fired some of the best policemen in the world, your crime fighters, and they let them go.
They fired the crime fighters. Now that all they've got is criminals left to police the streets.
What was that? What group?
Tell me the story. Tell me about how they fired your crime fighters.
No, it's that we're losing huge numbers, and we have a problem on both ends, sir. We're losing.
Trump has a problem on both ends. They smell the same.
Members that are deciding to retire, upwards of 1,000. They're canceling classes of our.
Oh my God, just on and on.
Disgraceful. The media is a big. I call it the opposition party. Media is a big part of the problem. This really
not me. I'm part of the solution. Hi there. Vote.org. Make sure you're registered, even if you hate me.
Fake news. It's a big part. They don't report it because it's common sense. It's so simple to understand.
Okay, well, explain it to us then. Break it down. Notice he always says that this is simple. You could solve this so quickly, and then you ask him to... All I want is him to go maybe one sentence into what the shit he's talking about.
Hopefully Texas will be in great shape, okay?
I mean...
How about
ask Louis.
You down there? How are you?
Mr. President, thank you very much. I'm Bill Johnson. I'm the Executive Director for NAPO, and I kind of have a similar perspective to Andrea did in terms of nationally, all the problems that we've got, big cities, small towns.
Okay, so I'll ask you the same question. So where are you having the worst time?
I think, obviously, the violence that's going on in cities like New York City and Portland, Oregon is horrible.
What about Wisconsin?
Thank you, Natalie.
Where they take...
I'm trying. We're skipping. I do not need to hear Mike Pence kiss his ass today.
I just want to be clear with you.
We're with you, the president's leadership, and if you could just let me wear one of the uniforms over the weekend, I promise I'll have the pants cleaned by the time I return them.
Right next to him each and every day. I can tell you that everything you had heard from him 4 years ago when he was first running for president, his devotion to men and women in law enforcement has only been steeled by the rise of the radical left and the
Thanks. Thank you, Natalie.
attacks on law enforcement, and we're going to be with you every step of the way. This president, this administration will always back the blue.
And
we will heal our land and
working on additional support because you need we're the opposite of defund.
Oh, we're the opposite of defund. You're going to give a refund?
And you're talking about peanuts by comparison to what they do and the damage they do and the lives.
They cut 50 in Portland, which is your prime example that you've hammered this entire time. They cut $15 million from a $244 million budget, and none of it was personnel.
That they destroy. You're talking about a very small amount
Good
of
God.
money. So
Robert, yes, I do think Biden is a better choice. I think he's a decent human being who actually gives a shit.
With you all the way, 1,000.
And the illusion that somehow he's radical is a sales pitch from this clown trying to stay in office. Other than that, I have no opinion.
And I want to thank you all for being here. I really appreciate your support. We'll never let you down. I'm for you. I mean, just by nature, it's natural.
It's very natural for me to be for you. However, the FBI are scum because they looked into my campaign while I was talking to the Russians, and the law enforcement, they have you saw these people kicking in Roger Stone's door, like animals, these jackbooted thugs or whatever, but I always back the blue, except when I wish Ghislaine Maxwell well. I mean, she's been through so much, and I used to hang out with her, and she was just, I don't know really what's going on and why the police would be bothering her, but I wish her well, and Roger Stone, he intimidating a witness and lying to prosecutors and destroying evidence and all that. I mean, honestly,
it's common sense. And you know what?
It's common sense, and if the FBI weren't such scum, and if the SDNY wouldn't send people to actually collect evidence, I'd love all of them.
Thought you were doing a bad job, I'd let you know. You know that, Mick. Yes, sir. You know that, Pat. I'd let you know. Yes. But you're not allowed to do your job. That's
and your job is, just to be clear, stay way at the end of the hallway and make sure the camera is shut off when Jeffrey Epstein passes away.
Problem. You're not allowed, and you're dying to do your job. You could have stopped that New York stuff the first night. In 10 minutes, you could have stopped it, and you would have said,
you know what he could have stopped? Alan Dershowitz. They could have stopped Alan Dershowitz a long time ago.
With a lot of lives and a lot of anger and a lot of...
But Epstein, he gets arrested in Florida, and then he's right back out on the street, They gave him a key to the jail. Thank you, Jill. He could come back, if literally this cop's going, we have people looting stores, which are insured and you'll get new shit and you should throw those guys in jail. Meanwhile, this dude chose as a member of his cabinet somebody who negotiated a secret immunity agreement for Jeffrey Epstein, where when he actually did some time for solicitation of a minor, which is rape because he followed through, he got to come and go from the jail all he wanted. It was beyond even being at one of those minimum security prisons where they actually have a golf course. They have one of those outside of Frankfort, Kentucky. We drive by it every time we're going to and from Lexington when I'm visiting with my mom, and like, I mean, it's a prison. Like, okay, yeah, they definitely can play golf, but that's the exercise because these guys are too old to, lift weights. They're not white supremacist, neck tattoo types, and they got to walk around or they'll keel over, and then we're responsible for burying them. So the state wants them to stay alive for their whole sentence, so they let them golf. And but all right,
hardship and a lot of COVID, by the way. You would have stopped because I saw them marching on top of each other. You would have saved a lot, and you wanted to do it, and they wouldn't let.
You're worried about COVID. How's Herman Cain's family today?
You do it. I saw that. They wouldn't let you do it. They were going actually the opposite way. Turn your back, and then people start getting hurt. That had nothing to do with it.
Turn your back. Did de Blasio order the cops to turn their backs and not watch crime as it went on?
We're getting hurt. They just don't let you do your job. All right. Well, I want to thank Jennifer. Go ahead. Go ahead.
On the negotiations with Congress,
Yeah.
No, now we're getting to the questions.
I think the Democrats are hoping to hear directly from you on what you support. Would you be willing to
I think the Democrats don't care about the people of our country.
Yeah, that's why they doubled everything you asked for since the beginning of the pandemic. I beg your pardon. That's not completely true. They doubled the initial request for the CARES Act, but when it came to money for the actual pandemic initially, he asked for $2 billion. They gave him $8 billion. Remember that whole thing where he signed it and he's like, "We asked for $2 billion. They gave me $8 billion. I'll take it."
Really don't. I told my people.
They don't. But they did that. The reason the Democrats gave $8 million instead of $2 million to fight a pandemic that has crushed our economy and put 30 to 50 million people out of work is because they don't care about them. Yeah, that's why they wanted the $600 and the eviction moratorium extension added to a bunch of other shit. So you don't just ditch that and then don't solve the rest of the problems. Like, don't spend the money that's supposed to go towards testing and tracing.
Democrats do not care about the people of our.
That's what it is. They don't care.
They don't want to do what you should be doing for the people of our country.
What should they be doing?
Whether it's unemployment or anything else, and all they care about is the election, and they're going to lose the election. You see what's going on with the polls right now. I guess.
Oh yeah, we saw them.
We just got one over 50%. Rasmussen just came out. You see what's going on because the people get it. The Democrats
over 50% of what?
Are playing for November 3rd, and we're playing for the good of the people. It is a disgrace that they're not negotiating, but they're only looking to play a political game. I happen to think it's a bad political game. I think it hurts them.
I know that they look at you and what you say publicly different from what they hear from Mnuchin and Meadows. Are you willing to spell out exactly what you want right now?
They know what I want.
I don't know what I want, but they know what I want. Whatever they get, I'll say I want it and I'll sign it.
I want our people to be able to live and live well because it wasn't their fault that China brought in this pandemic. That China.
Yeah, but it was your fault that it left Washington State. I call it the Washington flu.
But in this plague, it's China's fault. You want to know the truth? China.
The Seattle sniffles.
Be paying for it, and maybe they will. Maybe they will. You'll watch.
You'll watch. They're gonna pay for it if they don't help me get reelected.
Watch. What else?
Mr. President, if we can ask you specifically, we heard yesterday your frustrations about how long it'll take to count the ballots here. Then why are you spending more energy to get the resources and the funding for the states that they want to be able to secure this election for all Americans?
Peter, you know nothing about my energy, okay?
What energy?
You know nothing about what I'm doing.
Yeah, that's why he asked you, what are you doing? See, that's how questions actually work.
Listen.
This is what happens when you plant all the questions you want with OAN, and you're like, look, you're not asking the question that was on your card.
You know nothing about what I do. So NBC, I just told you about the false report that NBC put out the other night about the mayor of Portland, and this is the kind of stuff you get. You'll see what happens, and it's common sense. Everyone knows mail-in ballots are a disaster.
So what are you doing to compensate? How are you going to make it safe so that people don't need to do mail-in ballots?
Just have to take a look at the last recent, take a look at New York City. Look at New York. They're still counting your ballots, Pat. Do you know that? They had a race, a small race by comparison. Tiny. It's so messed up, they have no idea there are ballots missing. Thousands and thousands of
It's a primary, I think.
ballots are
I mean,
missing.
I'm not quite sure what he's talking about, but yeah.
They think they're going to send
It would be a primary, unless is there a judge or something going on?
hundreds of millions of ballots all over the United States, and it's going to come out. You won't know the election result for weeks, months, maybe years after. Maybe you'll never know the election result.
That's what see, here's what's going to happen. He is going to lose on election night by an electoral landslide, and he knows this. And so what he's planning on doing is claiming that a lot of the votes were fraudulent. And by the way, mail-in ballots are counted on election night. But you can send them in ahead of time, and they're counted on election night. You don't mail, the last day to mail them is election day. But most people, when they do a mail-in vote, are doing it at least a week before because they want it to be part of the counting on election night. So if he actually believed what he was saying, he would say, you know, if you're going to vote by mail, you know, vote at least a week ahead so you can get your vote in and it's voted on that night, you know, so people know the night of, so we don't have to drag this out. But what he's planning on doing is suing and saying if it's close at all, he's going to assume that the mail-in ballots were actually for him and that there's a bunch of fake Democrat ballots, and so they're going to have to do recounts and stuff, and then he's going to hope that he can claim the presidency.
And that's what I'm concerned with.
Yeah, that's what you're concerned with.
It'll be fixed, it'll be rigged. People ought to...
So he's expecting to lose, is what he's saying. Because if you're saying you're going to win and your polls are really good, if it's fixed and it's rigged, then if you win, just like last time, like, if you win, what's this whole deep state bullshit I've heard about?
Smart. And I just hope our Republican voters, the people that are for you,
make sure that they vote on November 10th. No, I'm just kidding.
Are going to do what they have to do. Absentee ballots are great because absentee ballots, you have to go through a process to get them, and it's actually a great thing. Absentee ballots. I'm going to be voting absentee.
Not a process. Why are you voting absentee? Why is he voting absentee? There is no reason.
Absentee. An absentee ballot is one thing. A universal mail-in ballot is a disaster. These governors are going to send out millions of ballots
to registered voters.
They don't even know where they're sending them. I already have friends. They got ballots for a son who died 7 years ago.
Yeah, is he going to sign it and send it back and it's going to be cleared?
You don't even want to talk about it. But
you do know that they purge dead people before the election.
The media knows this. Actually, the Washington Post wrote a great article of all groups.
By the way, this anecdotal story he keeps telling we're a country of 340 million people, and the one story he tells over and over is this dude who had a son who died and he still got his registration information, not his ballot.
A week ago, the Washington Post wrote a great article that this is a disaster. This is going to be the greatest election disaster in history. And by the way, you guys...
Well, no, it isn't. You're not going to win.
I'd like to talk about Russia.
By the way, what's with the gin nose today?
Russia and China and other places. They'll be able to forge ballots. They'll forge them. They'll do whatever they have to do.
How? What are you talking about? They have to match a UPC code that the Secretary of State has. How do you add them to the Secretary of State's database for when they're counted? Does he think they just flip through paper and go, well, there's 10 here, must be 10? Like, they match them up. There's a process. We're a first world country. They're just going to count everybody with a purple finger and I'm going to lose.
People should go and they should vote or do an absentee ballot.
So what are you doing to secure it?
Say it.
The military predominantly votes by mail or absentee.
Absentee.
And so...
You didn't understand me. I said absentee ballots are actually...
Thank you, Arlene, and thank you, Cassie. This is weird.
A very good thing. Absentee ballots are secure and they're very good. But universal...
What's the difference?
Mail-in are a disaster.
It's not universal mail-in. You're giving everybody universally the option.
You're going to see an election and we're going to do very well in the election. Nobody wants...
We're going to see the most rigged election in history where I'm going to do very well. kind of a weird sales pitch.
That date more than me. I wish we'd move it up, okay? Move it up.
I do too.
But you're not prepared for what...
He wants to move it up because the economy's going to take a huge shit over the next 6 weeks. And he knows it's going to, like, the drag of it's going to affect the mail-in ballots as well.
Doing. And they're using COVID. You know, they're using the China virus.
That's what we're using, yeah.
China must be very happy about it because they hit us with a virus and now they screw up an election like you will never see. You watch what happens. I don't think you'll ever give me any statement. I guess Trump was right, but the people know I'm right. Watch.
What people are these? The lady who thinks demon semen can be cured with, I guess, chucking Holy Sprite on people?
What happens? New York City has a little election. We just talked. You got to see. Do you know how far they're never gonna have the result of that election? Never the correct result. They'll probably announce something at some point. But when did that take place? Like 5-6 weeks ago. Absentee ballots, great. Going to the polls, great. If you do universal mail-ins with millions and millions of ballots, you're never going to know what the real result of an election is. It's going to be a very, very sad day for our country. Go ahead.
On this topic, sir?
I'm trying to find, by the way, which one he's particularly mentioning, this particular case, but there's the New York one. If he keeps referring to the exact same one. Let's see. Having yet to find an effective formula for undercutting Mr. Biden or to lure him into the kinds of culture war fights that the president prefers, Mr. Trump is training more of his fire on the political process. Promoting baseless questions about election fraud is nothing new for Mr. Trump. He hopscotched from saying that President Barack Obama was elected with the help of dead voters to suggesting that the undocumented immigrants were voting en masse to claiming that out-of-state voters were bussed into New Hampshire in 2016. Let's see. On Tuesday, Trump declared, without declaring any evidence, that the 2020 election will be, in my opinion, the most corrupt election in the history of our nation, and we cannot let this happen. Meaning the election, I guess. Mail-in ballots, Mail-in ballots, he said, referring to conspiracy theories, could be stolen from carriers, counterfeited, or forged by either forces inside the United States or by foreign powers who don't want to see Trump win. Oh, so the Russian and Chinese aren't going to do anything this time. Okay. There is a tremendous evidence of fraud wherever you have mail-in ballots. No, there is not tremendous evidence of fraud. Suggested message was getting through to this base. 80% of Biden supporters in 6 battleground states strongly or somewhat support mail-in voting, while 72% of Mr. Trump supporters strongly or somewhat oppose it. Whoa. 88% of Biden supporters support mail-in voting. 72% of Trump supporters strongly or somewhat oppose it. Jesus Christ. He doesn't want to do this because this is what it is. His followers don't want to mail in their ballots because they probably think it's some sort of UN agenda to track them by address or something. His voters don't want to do mail-in voting. That's why he doesn't want to do it. Because he can't convince them any more than he can convince them to take a stupid vaccine.
Disaster, as you say. Why not commit to putting in resources to
We're putting in all the resources you can, but
we're putting in all the resources you can. Like what?
There's a couple of the radical left people said, who actually agree with me. They said, no matter what you do, we're not prepared for this. They're not prepared for an onslaught of millions of ballots pouring in. They're not prepared.
Yeah. When have we had millions of people vote in an election?
They're not prepared. You watch. They're not going to announce anything on November 3rd. They're not going to.
Yeah, they will.
Announce it on the 4th or the 5th or the 6th. It'll go on forever.
It'll go on forever. No, it won't. Because if it's not certified, Nancy Pelosi becomes president on January 20th.
They voted Mick during World War I. They voted during World War II.
Neither one of them were contagious, nor fought on this continent.
To the polls, they voted. They went to their booth.
Yeah. This isn't England during the Luftwaffe.
They voted proudly. But now with COVID, they don't want to vote.
Yeah, it's contagious.
They don't want to vote.
No, everybody does. Apparently, your people don't want to vote by mail. This is what you're scared of.
This will be...
If my people are asked to vote by mail, they won't fill it out because they don't believe it. or I can lie and pretend that they actually wanted to vote for me, but their ballots got thrown out.
Catastrophic for our nation. And you'll see it. I'm always right about things like this. I guess I must be. Or I wouldn't be sitting here. Yes, Jennifer, go ahead. You want something? Jennifer, do you want? Okay. Yeah, please, in the back.
What is your decision to delay the election in Hong Kong? What is your opinion?
I want to right now focus on this election. I'll have a statement about that soon. I heard that they did the delay in Hong Kong, and we'll have a statement about that. But I want to focus on this. Okay, thank you very much, everybody. Thank you very much.
A quick question on Obama. Yeah, he's a happy dude. He's a happy dude. Look at him. He's so happy. Now, I'm going to end on this. I know we're going a little bit long, and I'll try to keep it tight. I won't do the whole thing because we can't stand it. But there are tons of Trump supporters online, and this one's kind of random. I chose it at random. I'm not going to actually just, it's, let's see, this dude. He's, I don't know, Dr. Steve. And Dr. Steve is a big Trump fan. He's got books like The Triumph of Tradition, The Return of Christendom. He's got I think a Sean Hannity mug over here or something like that. Conservative Strategy, something like that. Yeah. So this is a right winger. He's a wise choice. I don't know. Is that a conversion therapy thing? I don't know. I'm just jealous because he got a big silver YouTube button on. But I mean, he's been doing this for years and nothing else. But this is a video titled "Trump's poll numbers surge past Obama's as Biden campaign begins to implode." And in case you're thinking this is from January or something, this is from today. So yeah.
President Trump's poll numbers surge past Obama's as the Biden campaign begins to implode.
And I'm going to go out on a limb and say the doctor doesn't, and I don't know what he's a doctor of, but I don't think he believes what he's saying from the look in his eyes.
In this video, we're going to take a look at the current state of...
Ooh, he gave me 4 whites right away. That's tough. When somebody throws you when you can see all the whites of their eyes, that's an old police technique to know the dude is full of shit and he's a little scared he's going to be caught.
Polls, how Joe Biden's campaign really is collapsing. And how...
Oh, it's collapsing, guys.
President Trump is poised for a solid victory come November.
Poised. He's very poised. Yeah.
Remember, you're not going to want to miss this. Greetings, everyone, patriots across the globe. Dr.
The Globe.
Steve here with you. I hope you're having a wonderful start to your
I am. I'm having a fantastic
weekend. Great to be with you as always.
What weekend?
If this is your first time here on this channel, a very warm welcome to you. We post 2 videos a day, analyze the current events, analyze some
2 videos a day this dude cranks out.
Super
Thanks, Steve.
Awesome conservative trends so that you can live in the present. And a lot of even better things.
Conservative trends so you can live in the present. You know, where women stay in the kitchen and gays stay in the closet and
to come. So if you haven't already done so,
and the state guarantees that every pregnancy comes to term.
Sure to
whether or not the father of the baby and the father of the kid having it are the same person.
Smack that bell and subscribe button. We'd love
See, these guys are total pros. I don't do any of this shit. I just do, if it wasn't for Can't Stop Lying, I would totally forget to remind you guys to like and subscribe. Don't forget to hit the notification bell and also support.
Is a regular part of this channel where each and every day we together have the privilege of celebrating the inevitable collapse of left-wing globalism and the unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. Now, before we dive...
The unstoppable rise of a new conservative age. That's right. We're gonna get all this, you know, gay and woman and minority toothpaste back in the tube, and we won't get it. We're not gonna mess our nice blue blazer in the process.
The things here, let's give a huge shout out to the sponsor of this video.
Uh-oh. Snake oil time.
That's the makers of this mega antioxidant.
Oh shit, I was kidding, but
called ESS 60.
I'm not gonna. I've had a little problem with my timing belt, but there's still lead in the pencil. I'm just saying.
It's being called a miracle molecule because
by it's not 50% demon semen, is it? I'm
people
worried.
Sleep better and they enjoy more energy.
Well, I've heard that if you don't sleep better, your spirit bride or spirit husband can't impregnate you.
Focus with a simple spoonful in the morning. You can.
If you know what I'm saying, I'll give you who wants a simple spoonful in the morning? Hello.
Actually mix it into your salad. You can rub it on a steak.
There's a lot I can do with it.
Or even dip your
what?
Bread in it.
Oh, I got a little worried there for a second.
3 delicious organic oils, and it actually delivers more than 172 times the power of
this looks completely legit.
Vitamin C. And to make it even better, if you click on that link below today, you get $10 off the regular price.
Cool, but do you get one of those things that you pop into the can and the old-fashioned oil things? I love those things. They're great. Or can I get like an oil can dropper so I can just right into my joints like the Tin Man? Right in the Jesus button.
So don't wait. Click on that link below or go to c60perfect.com and get
buy this stuff and shovel it down your throat.
Your ESS 60 oil direct from the lab today. All right,
really gets the gay out.
So let's dive right in here. Now, I know a lot of you have been concerned about Trump's re-election chance.
Why? His poll numbers are surging. Tell me about, I mean, honestly.
You've been looking at the polls most.
Well, yeah, I have to look at my poll. It's all covered in C60 right now, and you can't just let it lay there.
Most of which we forget have been conducted either directly by the mainstream Marxist media.
The mainstream Marxist media. So are we going to call it the MSUSSR now?
They were commissioned by them. You're looking at these polls, and then...
Oh, and then what happens? Tell me, how does this break down, dude? What really happens? What is it about that 67% of Republicans who support the president when it used to be 90 some odd?
And you're listening to these pathetic, pessimistic, conservative voices.
That's what it is. It's these phony conservatives, guys. These bullshit conservatives, the George Wills of the world, and honestly.
And the alt media are all down in the dumps about COVID and how it's all part of a Democratic plot to destroy the economy, and it's working.
Easy, dude. The hard sell is scaring me now. By the way, did you just lay an egg, or?
The economy is in shambles, and Portland was a trap for the president that he fell into. And
I don't know. Was he there? Did he go to Voodoo Donuts? Did he get the coffin full and eat it by himself?
There's no way he's going to win. And not if, but when Joe Biden wins, it's the end of the country. Conservatism is wiped out of existence. Does that sound familiar?
No. No, but I don't scurry down the hole of right-wing YouTube very often, so no.
Well, if it does, enough.
Oh, thank God. He's banishing it. Guys, he's banishing it.
Walk away from all.
Just walk. It's Wexit. It's a white exit from the Republican Party. Don't let them pull you onto the plantation of conservatism.
All of that complete and total nonsense. Enough. We should have our own walk away movement, right?
Does Candace Owens have to run both of them? So, are you suggesting that the black woman has to do all the work for you? Just saying, it's a little on the nose.
First and foremost, walk away from the dishonest and corrupt mainstream Marxist media.
They're terrible. Yeah, and I'm sure it means MSDNC, MARX.
Do not believe in truth.
They don't. They don't believe in truth. Weird.
For them, truth is power.
I see. For you, so if they believe truth is power, So that would mean to you, power equals truth?
Truth is whatever empowers them in their leftist Marxist agenda and whatever disempowers and discourages the growing nationalist populist movement here in the United States.
The growing nationalist populist movement in the country, whatever. By the way, I love my country and I love my flag, and if you want to kneel because you don't think it's living, it's being held up to the standards that it stands for, I'm with you, and that's part of what makes it great. You're allowed to do that. The First Amendment is first for a reason.
States, throughout Europe, throughout the entire world. So don't listen to
Listen to Steve Bannon as he tours Europe.
Them.
He goes to Hungary and waits till somebody puts a small blue light in a window.
Literally have to approach CNN and MSNBC and the New York Times.
323, look out.
And yes, even Fox News, at least the Chris Wallace.
Et tu, Foxe. Oh, God. Oh, it's Fox, guys. Fox has turned on us. What are we going to do? It's okay. We've got Dr. Steve. He's got 2 tumblers of it with his brand on them that he got from that company that makes shit in China.
Fox News, which is every bit as globalist as CNN and MSNBC.
Oh, good Lord. He's dropping the big G globalism.
See, they don't believe in truth.
Oh. Doesn't truth supersede belief?
So there's no...
So it's true no matter what, like, it's true that if you cross a street wearing all black in the middle of the night on a busy street against the light, you probably will get hit by a fast-moving car, and you can not believe in that truth, but you'll just go, oh, no, wait, I got a better example. Like, it's true that science shows that if you wear a mask, and if there's a mask mandate in a country, they get a handle on COVID faster than anywhere. Oh.
Point in relying on them for an accurate assessment of what's going on in the world.
Come on,
so
guys.
Walk away.
Yeah.
Walk away from the mainstream Marxist media.
Don't walk away, and that means Hannity.
And walk away from the
and Tucker.
Little conservative pundits out there.
He's running out of air.
In our alt media that's telling you to build your bunkers, all is lost, Texas.
I remember when Richard Dreyfuss did the story of the guy who washed up on a riverbank and everybody thought he was dead, but then he came back to life? Love that movie.
Is going blue and blah, 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 all right?
Yeah, blah, blah, blah.
Why are they saying these things?
Yeah, they're saying them because Biden's campaign is collapsing and they don't want you to know.
Because... Number one, they're listening to mainstream Marxist media.
Sure. Yeah, Tucker's definitely listening to MSDNC every night and getting his cues.
Reading the fake news as if it were real, right? So just, walk away from that for heaven's sake. Look,
don't even...
Here's what's really going on.
Okay, tell me.
As we speak, President Trump's poll numbers are surging while Biden's campaign is collapsing, all right?
Okay, I feel much better already.
Let's
okay,
look at some of these poll numbers.
Sure.
Rasmussen, who tracks the daily approval numbers for presidents, so as to be able to compare them as to where they were or are in their respective presidencies. Rasmussen has Trump polling at 50% approval today, which is 3 points higher than where Obama was polling at this same time in his presidency. Now, of course, this
margin of error, but okay, I'm with you. Did this change happen before or after he started wearing a mask in public and insisting on it? And has it factored in the Herman Cain death?
All the more stunning given the months of COVID shutdown, the economic downturn that came as a result, the mass race riots throughout.
It's not just people who are trying to encourage him to speak more honestly about the thing and going, yeah, no, I support him now because he's talking about these kind of things. Doesn't mean I'm going to vote for him, but I approve of him, the mask-wearing Trump and the honest one, the change in tone Trump versus the original one. Still not going to vote for him, but...
The nation. Let's not forget impeachment.
I'm not going to forget it. It's we need to do it again.
Democrats impeaching our president. And then on top...
he's their president, too, so Democrats were impeaching their president as well because of crimes he committed in office.
Of all of that, you have 90 to 95% negative reporting against our president.
Well, the facts are negative, so they just have to report them.
The mainstream marks.
Half the time they're just telling, if he wears a mask, everybody's like, oh my God, the change in tone. They can't wait they line up to kiss his ass if he acts even remotely normal. It's like the Bush, he's a kind of a colloquial guy. Who cares if he tries to leave a press conference through a locked door?
Media, the left-wing activists disguised as journalists. I hate to even call it reporting.
Oh, don't hurt yourself.
The Media Research Center conducted a study that found that 92% of the media's coverage of President Trump was decisively negative, which
you do realize that could actually point to that 92% of the stories that they need to cover about him are bad. Like that he does a lot of damaging shit. Like if he didn't, this wouldn't be true if he didn't tweet like an asshole nonstop.
It's the mirror opposite of what Obama received,
Oh.
and the glowing and fawning coverage from a media that absolutely...
That's weird, because guys, you remember how the shit really hit the fan when Obama said we should maybe postpone this election? What do you think?
adored him. I will never forget when a former Newsweek editor was being interviewed on MSNBC by Chris Matthews, right, the now disgraced and defunct political pundit who got fired from MSNBC because he got Me Too'd. But this guy from...
Yeah, you have a picture of Donald Trump and a book about him above your head and the return of Christendom on your desk. I think you might want to keep the Me Too movement out of your mouth.
Newsweek...
It might be the only...
actually went so far as to compare Obama with God.
D-Day marked D-Day by comparing Obama to God. 153 views, 1 shares.
Reagan was all about...
I don't think it's pretty cut and dry as that.
America. Then for Obama, we're all above that now. He's standing above our country. And I kid you not, he actually said this. Obama stood above the country, above the world, so he's sort of like God. I mean, what do you even say to such
Well, we were the good guys in 1984. It felt that way. It hasn't felt that way in many recent years, so Obama's had really a different task. We're seen too often as the bad guys, and he has a very different job from Reagan was all about America, and you talk about it, Obama is, we are above that now. We're not just parochial. We're not just chauvinistic. We're not just provincial. We stand for something. I mean, in a way, Obama's standing above the country, above the world. He's sort of God. Emblematic of what we stand for, meaning that America is God and he's representing it.
absurdity like that. I mean, that's globalism for you.
Is it? Yeah. Guys, I'm sorry. I have to cut the show short because I just got my marching orders from Evan Thomas.
So despite all of these setbacks,
what?
Despite impeachment, corona, recession, race riots, 24/7 mainstream Marxist media, 92% negative coverage, all that, Trump is beating Obama. Did you see?
Trump is beating Obama. If only Obama was running right now.
The focus group research that recently came out. It was amazing.
Based on where he was in 2011, before the actual turnaround had happened. Because we're talking about the, like, right before, and by the way, right before the election, he won. Obama won. Yeah.
Came out this week. And if you could believe it, even CNN was reporting on it. Rich Thaw of the focus research group Engage Us has found that upwards of 75% of the focus groups that he's personally interviewed in swing states such as Wisconsin, Iowa, Michigan, Pennsylvania, all said they were voting for Trump over Biden. In fact, when he...
Yeah, those groups were people who had voted for him last time.
Gave them a choice between Trump and Obama. Now, keep in mind, these were voters. They're swing voters, so they voted for Obama twice, but then they turned around and voted for Trump. When they were given the choice between Obama and Trump,
they voted for the guy who could actually run again?
A full 75% went with Trump. It was an amazing focus group study that's able to cut through a lot of the fog of the polls that I think just jumble people together.
They are
in the
foggy.
way pollsters deem, fit. But here are people who voted for Obama and then turned and voted for Trump, and then when given the choice, they go overwhelmingly with Trump over Obama. Forget Biden. They had voted for Trump as a disruptor. He gave them that. They're happy with him.
Yeah, they're totally happy.
Trump didn't campaign in one way and then become a completely different person once sworn into office, right?
Yeah, he's not enacting the largest socialist governmental policies in history.
Hello, George W. Bush. So this is really, really fascinating stuff. Now, this is all
I can't do this whole thing because this is jibber jabber, but we'll. I want to see how this dude signs off or what his final argument is.
It's having a hard time actually mobilizing their base, but when they do show up to vote, the results indicate a party deeply divided.
Trump is big winner and Sessions is big loser in Tuesday's primaries while Dems remain divided. Opinion. The president's current chances for re-election may be stronger than national polls indicate. Oh yeah? Okay. Thanks, Doug.
In several U.S. House and Senate Democratic primaries held just back in June.
While Dems remain... Literally, this is July 15th. This is when the Unity Charter was like signed and they were working it out, and Trump was arguing that his former AG should lose a Senate primary.
Progressive challengers
Gonzo.
either defeated or came close to nearly defeating their well-funded establishment.
In several years later, June, progressive challengers either defeated or came close to nearly defeated their well-funded established opponents. Yeah, blue districts stayed blue.
Opponents and the
Jeff Sessions lost his Senate primary.
The primaries in July.
He's the most well-known. Like, okay,
no exception.
Mm-hmm.
The far left insurgency is causing fractures within the.
Trump wins 407 electoral votes with 75 million popular votes with 52% of the black vote. Right. Yeah, that'll happen.
Democratic Party as well as the nation as a whole.
And
it's
HOLE.
Causing the Democratic Party to embrace radical left-wing policies just
like
to
what?
Appease them. Biden is already actually saying that police have become, quote, the enemy. Which
they're received as the enemy. That's not the saying that they are the enemy. They're seen as the enemy. See, it's a perception statement as opposed to the reality. And that needs work. Wouldn't you agree? Didn't Trump just have a whole round table? Hi, Ginger.
Of course, the Trump campaign is having a delightful time exploiting.
Delightful.
Show notes that this lurch to the left by the Democrats will almost certainly cost them the presidency, the Senate, and he thinks perhaps even the current House majority would not be wonderful. Pundits have already been saying that the House is up for grabs. And
need to rethink their coronavirus strategy or they could lose the White House. Michael Gordon, opinion columnist. There's a lot of opinion stuff going on here.
Further lurch to the left by the Democrats may be all that's needed for the GOP to retake control. So all in all, President Trump is surging in the polls, all the while Biden's campaign really is imploding down into the basement.
See? Basement. Which is, of course, not in near Scranton where he just gave a press conference and answered questions or whatever, or the church where he had a listening session, or the street where he kneeled with protesters and spoke to them directly, or where he went to the actual to pay his respects to John Lewis or any of that. But yeah.
Now, before you go, you definitely want to check out my latest video I just uploaded on.
No, I don't really. I don't.
The new bombshell documents revealing that Bill Clinton did in fact stay at Jeffrey Epstein's notorious island with two.
Hey, that's he's doing it again. He's showing us the whites. Classic situation where when you're interviewing someone or someone's telling you a story, you can kind of tell when they flash you the whites during the story that they don't believe what they're saying. This is baseline. Yeah, I'm not at all insane for believing this. European Union continues to crumble as Ital exit officially. Bombshell documents reveal Bill Clinton stayed at Epstein's Island. Don Lemon fails again. The collapse of CNN. There's 16 videos about the collapse of CNN. I'm shocked they're still on the air. So weird. What's his whole argument? Are we seeing the revitalization of Christian civilization for decades? The world's been. You do realize that Trump, Gonzo, thanks, no problem. You're not a loser, and it's good to see you. It's a pleasure. Better late than never. We're always here. Biden's been a Catholic his whole life. He lost a wife and a daughter and a son He's genuinely religious, has been his whole life, much to the chagrin of some people, where he was, was partly elements of his Hyde Amendment support initially, when there were other options for women to have if they needed to have an abortion. But Trump can in a very Jesus way, spray protesters with tear gas and pepper spray and pepper balls and have them driven out with plastic shields so he can get a picture of himself in front of a church he doesn't go to holding a Bible upside down like he won a trophy at the Pinewood Derby. Like, that's the most embarrassing part of this whole thing. Anyways, this is, by the way, this is the hard sell. Who's this nut job? Hal's tearing apart. This is Dr. Steve somebody or other. Dr. Steve Turley. And I gotta say, dude's got 500,000 subscribers. I mean, I'm nobody, right? This guy's internet famous compared to my YouTube presence. This is the big time. Now, I mean, you'll notice when you go to the insight on my pages that it's all 100% organic. There is kind of a different thing. He's a doctor of theology. He plays doctor of theology. Jill, thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks for dropping by. There's a ton of these dudes on YouTube. There's a ton of these dudes. And they're all bounced around with the same thing. But this dude does 2 videos a day basically reassuring conservatives that everything is going their way and that the polls are all lying and that they're going to win and all that kind of stuff. And here's what I would try to say. Here's what I will attempt to say and do it successfully, I think. Act as if you're losing. At no point where when I'm reassuring you that this guy's completely out of his gourd, am I also saying, tap the brakes. If you live in a blue state, it's pretty solid. You know what I mean? If you're in a red state, I mean, what's the point? No. This fall, this November, vote like someone else's life depends on it. Thank you, Amber, because it will. And again, I'm going to sign off and let you guys have a wonderful evening, and I got to prep for the show tomorrow. 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific time is our Saturday show. Oh my God, Gonzo! Bam! Look at this. It's a hype train, YouTube style. Bless you, and thanks everybody for we've gained a couple of new Patreon supporters even this show, so I appreciate it. And Mick, you're absolutely right. We need an overwhelming show of support for the ideas you hold dear. You don't vote like it's a contest. You vote to express your political ideals. And that's why I say to people, and much to the chagrin of some of my more ardent supporters, sometimes, I don't care if you agree with me politically or if you're going to vote against who I'm voting for. I want you to vote. I want you to be safe when you vote. I want you to have enough polling places. I don't want you to have to stand in line all day. I don't want you to be in danger of losing your job if you need time off. And if at some point they decide that we need a government ID, with a picture on it to vote, then I believe everyone in the United States who is a citizen should receive a citizenship card that has their picture on it, a global ID for the United States that you can also use as a Canadian and Mexican back and forth passport, or use it like when you go ashore in the in Puerto Rico, in like some of the Caribbean islands that aren't if you go to Puerto Rico or the U.S. Virgin Islands, you don't need a passport or anything, but some of them you do to go ashore. I think it should qualify. That said, until such time as they want to provide everyone with that free of charge, because you can't have a poll tax, piss off. We all have been voting for a long time. A lot of elections have happened, and it's all happened the old-fashioned way. We can still do this. But I want you to vote. I want you to vote, even if you disagree with me. Even if you can't stand the sound of my voice, or how dare I pick on your dear leader, you maggot Trumpster idiots, and your fart sniffing of this ridiculous monstrosity, faux billionaire, second generation rich kid who is so stupid he thinks you have a finite number of heartbeats, and if you exercise you'll die sooner. TikTok is malware because it's owned by it's half owned by the Chinese government, and It's built that way. Thanks, Ginger. So, even if you're nuts, though, I don't care. If you're capable of signing your name and you're a legal age and you're a U.S. citizen, I want you to vote, and I want you to vote safely. So go to vote.org. Make sure that your registration is up to date. If it isn't, if you don't trust me, like I'm sending you some nutty website, that it's all left-wing and they're going to throw your shit out, then do it through a trusted channel. But make sure you're registered to vote and that you can vote safely. And if you are worried about COVID, get your vote by mail ballot, and if you want to vote on the day and you can, drive down there and hand it in. Nothing is stopping you. You do not have to mail it. You just have the option if in fact you cannot make it. If you're going to mail in your ballot and you get it, I would argue fill it out as soon as you get it and mail it in. ASAP. So that Trump and all of his buddies don't have to wait for months to find out what losers they are. They want to do it right away. So I appreciate you guys dropping in. It's really awesome to see you every day. Guys, Summer and I were talking about the Patreon stuff and a bunch of the Super Chat supporters and the Twitch subscriptions and all that kind of stuff today. And I got a little teary-eyed talking about you guys because this is not. We're all shifting what we do to the environment that we're in, and we're adapting as best we can and still trying to pay our bills and feed our kids and educate them. And to be able to do this because I care and actually have you guys respond to it in a supportive way is amazing. Yes, I got verklempt. It's true flame doodle. So, and thank you for the sparkles and the super hearts, by the way. Thank you, Periscope and Lipschitz and Bumblebee and all that crowd, because you guys are why we hit the mark for the super broadcaster thing. We made that mark because of you guys. So I appreciate you. We will laugh our way through this. We will come out the other side. We will maintain our sense of self and our sense of sanity. We will be the guiding light and the emotionally in control for those people who don't have that as an option. And let's see, Trump went surrender to MAGA. ID would be fine if it was free. Yeah. That's the whole point. If you're going to charge people, dude, I'm so quarantined, you're like the only person I hang out with. Gonzo, I'm a pretty good best friend. I honestly am. I mean, it's long distance. I don't know how good it is, but I'll do my best. I will do my best. I promise. So I will see you guys tomorrow. The radio show is at 9 to 11 a.m. on Saturdays Pacific time. If you want to join us for that on WCPT Radio, it's a call-in show, the whole shebang. So, but until then, I will see you guys tomorrow. Take care of yourself and take care of somebody else. Reach out. Have a great Friday night. Love you guys. Bye. You're awesome. Cheers. What music tonight, though? What loop should we play tonight? This one? I like this one, man. It's kind of a Friday thing. You know what I mean?
All I'm offering is the truth.
I put these sound drops in myself live, by the way, guys. Eventually, maybe I'll pre-record a version of this in case I have to take off and I still want you guys to be able to talk. But yeah, 9 to 11 a.m. Pacific, Gonzo, in the morning. I do my radio show. So, but all these little drops, I find them, I grab them. I will get bags of soup and add it.
I was thinking of the immortal words of Socrates, who said,
Did have shade.
Excellent.
I'll use small words that you'll be sure to understand, you warthog-faced buffoon.
Person, woman, man, camera, TV. 10 minutes, 15, 20 minutes later, they say, remember the first question? Not the first, but the 10th question? Person, woman, man, camera, TV. They say,
Please do we cut the chit-chat, a-hole.
Person, woman.
Shut up and never say anything again as long as you live.
We have that. It's as wide as it can be.
River.
Give us that again. Can you do that again? And you go
A chat with you and somehow death loses its sting.
This my sister. You can all have her. I hear she's very good.
Person, woman.
Just looking around here, I can tell you're a genuinely dirty person.
Person, woman. It's good to be the king.
Throw me a frickin' bone here. I'm the boss. Need the info.
I know he can get the job, but can he do the job?
Would you classify that as a launch problem or a design problem?
Groovy.
I'm your huckleberry.
Something strange happened to me this morning.
Was it a dream where you see yourself standing in sort of sun god robes on a pyramid with 1,000 naked women screaming and throwing little pickles at you?
No.
Why am I the only person that has that dream?
Dr. Evil.
Geez, you're real nice. If I didn't have puke breath, I'd kiss you.
Guy talk!
You are physically repulsive, intellectually retarded, vulgar, insensitive, selfish, stupid. You have no taste, a lousy sense of humor, and you smell.
Give us that again. Can you do that again? And you go person, woman, man, camera, TV.
To be a moron, to be moronical, an imbecile, like the dumbest motherfucker that ever lived.
Groovy.
You're not hearing what I'm saying.
Oh, that's okay, Doc, because you're not saying what I'm hearing.
Am I getting through to you, Alpha? I gotta barbecue your ass in molasses!
Just follow the money.
Person, woman.
I love lair.
That was really cool, by the way.
That's great psychology. Why don't you just say something bad about my mother?
I couldn't think of a more horrible job if I wanted to. And you have to do it. Person, woman, man, camera, TV.
You stay classy, San Diego.
I feel no shame, only pride, because my syphilis is a badge of honor.
I have come here to chew bubblegum and kick ass. And I'm all out of bubblegum.
Man, I'm tired of being right. We need you. Hell, I need you. I'm a mess without you. I miss you so damn much. I miss being with you. I miss being near you. I miss your laugh. I miss your scent. I miss your musk. When this all gets sorted out, I think you and me should get an apartment together.
The sportos, the motorheads, geeks, sluts, bloods, wastoids, dweebies, dickheads, they all adore him. They think he's a righteous dude.